I will share it. I'll share it on. I should share it on Battle Station. That's State
Sure.
Federation's more of a collaborative thing, but Battle Station's me.
That's fine. Welcome to the shipyard. We are doing character creation, hanging out. Welcome to like half the crew of the USS Hadfield. Yeah, guys, that's the name. Enjoy. So Chris Hadfield was a Canadian astronaut, and then spent so after he went to space, he spent a bunch of time doing community outreach, science, basically STEM program stuff. Spent a lot of time in Houston with NASA, and the more I got to know about him, the more I said, yeah, this guy deserves a ship name. And really, really fascinating for me.
But I'm guessing Nick suggested it because he's Canadian.
Nick brought the name up, and I kind of scoffed at first just because Canadian. I don't want to name this after a Canadian. But then I did my research, and I said, yeah, this works.
What's your problem with Canadians there, Dave?
I didn't want the name solely because he was Canadian. I didn't want that to be the rationale for a ship name.
I saw a moment to poke fun and I went with it. Yeah, I fully agree with you on that regard. It's not. It should be because of Star Trek ship names are because of people who are very prominent in history for a area of exploration or scientific advancement. So it makes sense to have the research to back it up.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised that Star Trek never had the. Why am I missing the Armstrong?
Yeah.
He was alive though.
That might be part of it.
Yeah.
You don't do ships after people that are still living. But.
Well, I mean, you do in real life. Like there's I'm sure. I think there's a USS Jimmy Carter. There's a USS George W. Bush. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though you don't do them after presidents while the president is still in office.
That's correct.
So,
but I'm pretty sure he would not. Yeah, it would be weird. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
So, but so we're on a Luna class, much to the objections of some here.
You're so
I liked it.
Ugly.
Give me a tall ship and a star to sail her by.
Okay, but a Luna is like a short, squat, ugly ship.
The good news is you guys never actually have to look at your own ship. You're looking from your ship.
True. Okay, that is a fabulous. If there's going to be a Luna class, by that logic, I absolutely want to be on it.
The bad news is there's 12 other Luna class ships in the galaxy. You have to deal with it.
Well,
So has the captain taken the placard and where it says Luna class on it, just scribbled it out and went anything else on the name plaque?
Well, fortunately for you guys, Tucker is not the captain. So
I know I'm most certainly
there's
not.
that.
I would not want that role. I have more fun being the chaotic, random trickster of the group. Well, not even trickster, just comedic relief. I play comedic relief better than anything else.
Yes. I think you and a security officer, Tess Denning, will get along quite well.
I, on the other hand, so for those who don't know, if I sound way more dead than I usually do in the podcast, it's because one of the things I take the opportunity to do in role-playing games is just relax and just sort of turn off the brain for a bit. So I tend to play laconic, deadpan snarkers that don't talk a lot.
Oh, your character and mine are going to be opposite ends.
Oh, my character already despises you. Don't worry about it.
Beautiful. It's going to be a wonderful friendship.
Well, actually, my character doesn't despise anyone. That would be illogical.
Ah, there it is.
It's in there somewhere, deep, deep down.
Buried.
So Tucker is playing a Vulcan Borg. I'll let him describe more. Chris is playing a Ferengi that you may know if you watched The Wandering Inn. Again, I'll let him describe more. John, I'm not sure what you're up to yet. We'll get there.
Okay.
John, are you going to describe what you're up to?
I'm still...
Wasn't sure if David was waiting or...
No, go for it.
Okay. I've got he's a human chief engineer, but he's not an officer. He works for a living, so he's enlisted. But he's a senior chief petty officer. Yeah.
He's not a master petty officer?
I thought about it because I did imagine him having, being in his mid-40s, so having a lot of experience, but I wasn't sure which would be better. I did think about that. The funny thing is, and this is completely independent, I did have him being born and raised for the first few years of his life on Vulcan. So,
that works.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think I had it worked out. I think my character's on Vulcan. I don't know. I did. God, I need to look at my character's entire life path history again. What are we doing for sheets, by the way?
I am trying to find my editable PDF sheets so I can send them to all of you because I know I have them. I'm just trying to find the Reddit link for them because that's so much easier.
All right. Why did I pick Earth? Oh, I know why I picked Earth.
Another species homeworld.
Yeah, I had to switch from yeah, I don't know. I guess I would like your guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
Because for life paths, I either had to be a Vulcan from Earth who called out a superior, or I had to be a Vulcan from Vulcan who had a mentor.
The Borg could be your mentor.
No, the Borg is a serious injury.
Okay.
That's not up for debate.
Fair enough.
I mean, it is in the sense that you're the GM and this, but I mean I want because serious injury, it also gives you that trait to reflect your injury. So I put Borg prostheses.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys check our private chat, then there's a link to the Reddit where there's downloadable PDFs, and also our event page on the shipyard has them.
All right, cool. Oh, but they're TOS.
It doesn't matter.
I know, but that's weird. I'd be talking about a Borg on a TOS sheet.
Yeah.
I know. I'm insane. Don't worry about it.
I know.
Actually, what was the link to the PDFs? Because I am completely new at this.
So on the Google Hangout, click the chat in the top left.
Got it.
And then there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
I should probably post that on the YouTube just for anybody that is wondering.
I mean, the default character sheets are form fillable.
Yeah,
they have them on the website.
There are default character sheets too on Modifius.
Oh God, but they're so ugly. They're the next generation one with the white background. That's gross.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no great character sheets for this game yet.
You know what? You know what though? I think if I download this, I agree to the terms and conditions. Whatever. It's £0. Stop being a jerk. I think if I, are you kidding? Okay, this is way too hard. I'm not even. Oh, good. It's also available through DriveThruRPG.
Yes.
Great. Or maybe it's through their downloads page as well. I would love that because they're like trying to make me give them their email address, and the heck with that.
I understand.
Savage Worlds? Oh, I didn't know they did Savage Worlds.
Yeah, Modifius has done a lot of RPGs lately, and they are like on fire with stuff.
Oh, seriously.
They like swept Gen Con RPG awards.
Oh, I'm not surprised. This is a really good system. So for those who don't know, I actually, a lot of folks on State of the Federation might not actually know this, or who listen to my other stuff. So trivia about me. I was a playtester for Star Wars Saga's Rebellion Era Campaign Guide, and I have some other credit. Like I have a credit in a Legend of the Five Rings book. I helped Wizards of the Coast with the 3.5 rules compendium. Like I'm really into analyzing systems and role-playing game systems. So like that's one of the reasons, like I've seen so friggin' many, and I've spent so much friggin' amount of my life on systems, and I'm just so friggin' impressed with this one, right? Like this is just an amazing system.
This one feels clean to me. Yeah, there's some grammatical errors and whatnot, but
oh yeah, no, there's tons of errata issues and stuff like that.
Like the second edition printing of this book will be so much better, but the core system is just it's
system
simple.
Is super strong.
Yeah, this is the first system I've ever seen that made me want to jump into GMing.
This is the first system I've. Yeah, go ahead.
As anyone that knows what I do on the shipyard, you know that I don't have a ton of free time. And so for me to spend, more of my time doing a Star Trek game, doing stuff for the channel above and beyond what I already do, it's got to be special.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I'm so exhausted.
So Chris, any luck with those links?
Got them. I'm starting to fill it out. Downloaded, saved to desktop. So whatever changes I make should hopefully stay put.
Cool.
Okay, here we go. All right. So
Tucker, I know you've done a character.
Yes.
Like you're basically filled out, ready to go with yours.
I still need to do equipment because I always hate that part. But
I do too. I don't think I've ever actually finished equipment on any of my characters. That'll change by the time we actually play this game, but it'll get improv'd as needed. I see a Will.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, Will, are you okay? Are you gonna be okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah. So Will's in Florida. That puts him in the path of a hurricane. Will may have himself muted or not have his headphones in at this point. But
yeah, he's still setting up.
But hi, Will. Okay, so Chris, I know you. Well, I shouldn't assume anything. Have you done anything with character creation process whatsoever?
No, none at all.
Great. So this is for you to create everything that you need.
Beautiful.
David?
Yes.
Do you mind if I just create a Google Sheet and sort of do this as I go? Because I'm like, I want to make sure all my numbers are right anyway, and then I'll put it all into a thing.
That's totally fine.
Word sheet?
Yeah, Google Doc or spreadsheet, whatever.
I'm gonna make it. I'm I'm going to make it automatically calculating what I do, basically.
That's fine.
So.
Fine by me.
All right,
you do what you need to do to make it work. All right, Chris, I am scrolling through my PDFs so I can actually get to the character creation part, because I was reading GM stuff last night.
Awesome.
Okay, the first thing you need is for attributes. Every one of your attributes starts at
7,
and then every one of your, I forget what the other things are called. Disciplines start at 1.
Okay, perfect. Filling it out now.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. All done.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
Now, as a Ferengi, there's nothing actually in the book.
Okay.
But just for being a race,
no, there's a Ferengi race in the book.
Oh,
it's in NPCs. It's on page 326. No talents, right? But
we'll create talents.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. There are, for example, every single Ferengi NPC has a special rule called greed is eternal, which is basically a talent, right? Like, it's when engaged in negotiations that have the potential for the Ferengi to profit financially, they may spend one threat, or for a PC it would be motivation, right? They may spend one motivation during a task to re-roll the dice pool, and that's basically just a talent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we'll give you that as a talent.
Okay. So
you don't, as a talent option, right? Like, you don't get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as your like racial talent,
right?
Just because of you being a Ferengi, you will give you the talent named Greed is Eternal. Yes.
Racial talents aren't free. You still have to choose them as one of your talents.
Right. I know, because you get 4 talents.
I know. It's just the way. Oh, I see. You're saying you're helping him through the. Okay, I see what you're doing. Never mind.
So Chris,
I'll shut up.
Ultimately, you get 4 talents. You get one is your racial talent, one for growing up, one for your time at the academy or whatever time you spent learning how to do what you do, and the 4th is kind of at the end, a wrap-up talent.
Okay.
So we'll say the Greed is Eternal is just native to you being Ferengi.
Okay, so the Greed is Eternal is a reroll of...
Yeah, so you'll... what that means is you will spend a momentum during a task to reroll the dice.
Okay. During
Will,
a
is that you?
Right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
It looks like I have green bars, so I can speak.
Yay!
Also, talking about the Ferengi, there are 2 additional Ferengi unique talents further on, because there's 3 NPCs.
Right, but one of them, the you can't make a deal if you're dead, seems to be unique to that NPC.
Yes,
because they call him out by name. Right.
I was just looking at them. They all looked cool.
Right, but free advice is seldom cheap. Also, I mean, it also makes sense as a talent, and most races have 2. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Right. Actually, yeah. Okay, so that does make sense. So, Chris, here you have 2 options. Okay. These are just innate to being Ferengi. The Greed is Eternal. You would spend 1 momentum during a task to re-roll the dice pool.
Okay.
And that's when engaged in negotiations that have the potential for you to profit financially.
Okay.
Chance to make Latinum, you could do that. Or you could go with free advice is seldom cheap. Okay. And you would increase the difficulty of all social conflict to persuade a Ferengi salesman by 2.
Okay, I kind of like the first one. I'll definitely go with that one.
Okay, that's fine. So, like, if you're part of an away team, that's where that would come into play. Some kind of a negotiation, or
if like he's for some reason in command and talking to somebody over comms, right?
Yeah. I would. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
So I would think that just for being Ferengi, you get a +1 to your control, your insight, and your presence.
So they go up to 8.
Yes, just naturally.
Control, insight, and presence up to 8s.
And think about it. Ferengi are very insightful. It's what helps them do business. They do have a bit of a presence about them, and they like to be in control. That's not my only justification, but they're definitely not daring. They're not the most fit of people.
Absolutely.
And they're not very reasonable.
No. And honestly, when it comes to this character creation, it's a character I want to play role-play wise. So
yes.
I'm obviously not in for the power gamer kind of build. So honestly, whatever stats you go for is basically, that sounds great, because I want to play the role more than... And it does make sense, because I'm going to be more or less probably, if a D&D term applies, the bard of the group. I dabble in everything, but I'm definitely not stellar at everything.
Oh, goodness. No, we are going to be complete opposites.
We are. We absolutely are.
No, you really don't you won't understand how much until you see my sheet.
Okay. So now Vax's backstory, and this is actually going to be really interesting because I don't think we've ever actually set up Vax's backstory.
Not really.
Where did he grow up? Did he grow up on Ferenginar, or like a busy colony, an isolated colony, a frontier colony, a starship or starbase, or some other species world?
Okay, so he would not have grown up on Ferenginar. I think that orbital space station he had is been in possession by his family for much longer than his lifetime.
Okay.
So that would have been inheritance by some form of another. Doesn't necessarily mean death. It could have been just family members moved on to something more profitable, and they went, here, just take this. Sure. So kind of space station, more space. Let's go space station life more than planetary.
Okay. So for your upbringing, or not upbringing, that is your environment.
Okay.
You would say space station, or and space station makes sense to me.
Now, Dave.
Yeah.
Because this campaign is dabbling in Vax as a parallel universe character, I'm more than welcome to leave it up to you for what timeline he's from. Because in the lore thus far, Vax has been granted asylum in the Federation and wears a Federation uniform.
Yeah. We could play to that, actually. That would make sense why he is on board this ship.
And I'm more than happy for that. Or even if you want to roll it back to the environment, say, this is too much for a starting character to own detail-wise. If it makes more sense to dial it back to, this is before all that campaign happened, I'm also more than happy for that, too. Like,
environment
it's also...
Go ahead, Tucker.
I was just going to say, there's actually an option to play a veteran character.
Right.
Like there are, you can easily, it'll give you a trait, or it'll give you one less talent because you have to pick a particular other talent, right? Yeah. But like, if you can, this game is totally set up to play, like, you could make Captain Picard, like even in like the movies in this system, right? Like it's not, this is not super like, oh, you have to start at level 1 mentality. This is a little bit more like I'd say it's a little bit more like a Shadowrun mentality, where like you want to start, you're already an experienced person if you want to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually chose veteran for my character.
Which makes sense for you. You've been an engineer for a while. You know your way around what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. Yeah.
I did a mix of veteran and experienced officers. I haven't done an ensign yet, but
oh god, it might as well be called Wesley Crusher.
It might, yeah.
So here's my character once again going on just to be the opposition of everybody. Vax does tinker and dabble with repair work, but he's going to drive a rigorous, by-the-book engineer incredibly insane. He's going to wire everything like a Christmas tree because it works.
And well, also, I mean, that engineer is from Vulcan, right? Or lived on Vulcan for a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because he's sort of a guy who's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he is a big jury rig guy because sometimes it's the only way you can get something to work. So it's going to depend on what Vax does.
Okay, so John,
I mean, right now you're sounding a lot like O'Brien on DS9.
It sort of is. He's enlisted. He's a chief petty officer. Probably might make him a master just because he's been in the service so long. But yeah,
cool. John, your and Chris's relationship is a bit like a Jordy Barkley if Barkley was truly competent.
Okay.
Although that might be overselling Vax.
Hey, he was he?
He had his moments
at the end. He was really creepy by the end of Voyager, but like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh right, he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took him a few years.
So, Chris, with growing up on a station, you get a value. Now, values are weird in this game in that describe a value in whatever way you want. Values are a way of stating something about your character that they just kind of are or hold to be true. For instance, Kirk might say, risk is our business. That might be one of Kirk's values. Some example values that the book gives: a starship is a home, its crew a family. Engineer at heart, violence. Body and mind alike must be healthy. Crisis only makes things worse. So values have no set guidelines other than at some point you start with determination points, and in certain aspects of the game you can spend a point of determination like once per game that we play.
Okay.
Based on if one of your values apply.
Okay.
And if you do that, you get to like take a die and make it an automatic crit.
Nice. I'm seeing the determination things on the side here, like perfect opportunity, gain a bonus D20, moment of inspiration, re-roll a die in your pool, and it goes on.
Right. So these values should be somewhat specific so that they can apply to situations, but not so specific that they'll never apply.
Well,
for instance, a first officer might say, I'll sacrifice myself for my crew.
Yeah. So what if Vax's value would be, say, something like everyone has their price?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, just as an example, the example value given for a Vulcan is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they got one for Kirk in here that's basically, I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
Yeah.
There you go.
Vax being a junkyard dealer, basically he took derelict ships, stripped them down, and sold parts. He basically, sales is his game, turning something that's worthless into monetary value.
I mean, you know what I might do? I would say here's a challenge, actually. this is a fun challenge, right? So mine, as we'll see, Will, I see your private chats. I'm doing something else right now.
Okay.
So my values are all blendings of the two races of my character's catchphrases, right? So I would say you're playing a Ferengi, you're playing a businessman. See if you can make every single value a rule of acquisition.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
I like it.
Some time to look up rules of acquisition. Go ahead, because Will, I don't think we've addressed your character at all.
No, not yet.
So,
I'm trying to get filled in on the other characters while you were talking, but no one's paying attention to me.
Yeah. Sorry. So Tucker is our helmsman, right? Or did you go
woman?
science?
But yes.
Helmswoman. Sorry.
I'm figuring that out right now. The alternative version is a doctor, but I really don't want to do that for a number of reasons. So, yes, my character is a liberated. She's a Vulcan who is a liberated Borg drone. Her name is Ta'ani. I
mean, that's better than a number.
Oh, I should have done a number.
Nah. 10. No, Tucker. 10. Ani.
No, I like Ta'ani. I like Ta'ani because
you are 10 of 9.
No, because the thing is,
the Vulcan would explode.
The thing is, well, I mean, just as a joke that I think, I think that David would get. I could call her 10 of 6.
I like.
I would have gone with 6 of 1.
No,
I'm not
no
in the reference. But...
the Mad Hatter.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it's been a long time since I've watched anything.
Yeah, but no.
A Mad Hatter.
As much as Ta'ani identifies with her Borg heritage and it is her primary race, like she does remember her name. So there's like she's more like the
Voyager colony of Borg-free drones.
Yeah, something like that. Like in other words, she was assimilated as an adult, right? Like 7 of 9 is 7 of 9 because she was assimilated as a kid and she doesn't remember not being a Borg. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
So closer to like Picard after Locutus, we're like.
Yeah, except
more
she's
trauma,
embracing.
but, yeah,
she's embracing the experience a little bit more than
right. Okay,
a little bit more than that.
So short of it is your science.
No, Helm.
Okay.
What's your secondary?
My secondaries are science and medical.
Gotcha.
I can also do. As we'll see, I can do a little bit of everything.
Which is jack of all trades. You Jane of all trades. You.
Yeah.
Jill of all trades. Yeah.
And works for me.
I've got John and Tucker. What's Chris doing?
Chris is a Ferengi who is kind of a support engineer, and we don't know his secondary yet.
First season ROM.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, ish. A mix, I guess, of ROM and Quark in a way.
Yeah. So, or ROM and Guinan.
Being part Quark, doesn't that just make you strictly worse than ROM? Because didn't ROM take over in one of the episodes and do better than Quark?
Wow.
I think so, okay. Yeah.
Chris, you're going to be part Guinan.
Yes.
As long as he doesn't have to wear any of the weird, funky Next Generation female outfits.
I want Vax, the bartender.
Guinan rocked those outfits. I'm just saying.
Yeah, had a crazy outfit. That was nice.
Whoopi can rock anything.
I know. I've seen her in real life.
Here.
Like, I've seen her in real life outside the Star Trek convention.
Awesome. Hmm. So yeah, I want Vax, the bartender.
That works for me.
/ counselor. So
10 forward.
Medicine.
Do we have a 10 forward? Do we have a ship?
Class.
Ew.
This is going to be an ongoing thing. Yeah, Luna class.
Ew.
This is going to be a long campaign. Every time I say Luna class.
Ew.
The
Yeah.
USS.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Luna looks great. I'm not complaining against the Luna. I'm thrilled that it's I'm very happy at the design of the Luna.
It could grow on me.
Like a fungus?
Should get that looked at. Now,
Wait, what's wrong with
All
it?
right.
Question: is our EMH acted by Robert Picardo, or do we get the terrible, terrible Andy Dick version? This is important here.
God.
We do not get the Andy Dick version.
Oh my
thank
God! They're
God.
shooting at us. They must think there's Romulans on board.
Well,
We get the rare prototype version of the season 2 Dr. Bashir version.
yes. Let's get the LMH.
Your doctor is acted by David Tennant.
Okay, sweet. I'll take it.
Huh.
Okay.
Wait. Is he actual a doctor or the doctor?
Oh,
Your
God.
EMH is acted by Matt Smith.
Oh God.
Uh,
Despise Matt Smith.
I think I would rather Gilbert Gottfried.
No.
Can we have-
No, guys.
Medical emergency.
No. Please state the nature of your medical emergency.
Yes. Yes. The award goes to you, sir.
So I am originally from Gloucester, and that is actually very close to sort of a northern Massachusetts, Maine sort of thing. Like I can do that pretty well. By the way, this is not work safe. This is not appropriate. But if any of you listeners want to laugh your friggin' butt off, College Humor did a ad featuring Gilbert Gottfried for the audiobook Gilbert Gottfried Reads 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh God.
And it was beautiful.
Oh,
And it's just that,
awesome.
like, it's literally just the like the salesman narrator, and then just Gilbert Gottfried.
I couldn't hear it. I was laughing so hard. It was like, I looked into her eyes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is. I am not going to hear any of this. I'm going to be laughing too hard.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so our EMH, I wish I was better with accents, and I will try to.
You don't have to. It's okay.
Please don't actually make it Gilbert Gottfried. That would just be.
But no, I will not Gilbert Gottfried it. But no, the EMH is far more Robert Picardo-esque than Andy Dick.
So Robert, I don't know why, but your microphone is cutting out every so often, like just for like a syllable's worth of time, and I still know what you're saying, but I have to take a second to figure it out.
Robert's not here.
Robert's not here.
God damn it, Dave did. God. So now you know who secretly usually has the mic problems on State of the Federation these days.
No, I understand that. That's been very evident.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, my computer's 5 years old. I'm on a MacBook laptop.
I'm sorry.
It's time.
Oh my. So did we leave off on a character creation somewhere in the middle of it?
I was just working on my values.
Oh, so Chris.
Oh my gosh, they actually have rules for board characters back here.
Yeah,
I'm playing one.
We're on your station. You also get a +1 to either control or insight, your choice, and then either a +1 to command, con, or engineering.
Okay, so control or insight, what does those generally both do? I have a vague idea.
Yes. Okay. This is where we...
I'm assuming insight's a lot like perception rolls.
Yeah, here. Insight's about understanding people and their feelings, and being open to different ideas and ways of thinking. It covers self-awareness, being conscious of a creature's current state of mind and hard-earned wisdom, relies upon a person's emotional intelligence, empathy, and experiences. You might use insight when attempting to understand feelings of another creature, trying to determine how another creature might think or act, to anticipate or predict its actions, trying to overcome your own judgments, preconceptions, when attempting to calm or reassure others, when allowing past experiences to an instinct to discern changes in environment around you.
Okay.
Insight. Control is about the character controlling themselves. It covers precision, accuracy, and careful timing.
I think I'm going to boost up insight for that point. Okay. Because that feels more like my character.
Cool. Like, you know your character better than I do, but it sounds right to me.
If I feel like I would be able to now, because I have great insight doesn't mean I would use it to understand. I might be using it to leverage a deal or whatever, right? Because I'd be understanding their side of everything.
Right. And knowing where you can exploit someone.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then discipline in either command, con, or engineering.
I'll go engineering because if he's like Watto from Star Wars Episode 1, I know we don't talk about Episode 1.
Welcome to Watto's shop. Take a look around. I got everything you need.
What core? I only have them here and no one else. Don't bother looking. So I'll go engineering for a bonus point.
Just so you're aware, no attribute can go above 12. No discipline can go above 5. You can only have one attribute at 12, one discipline at 5. But if you go over, there's ways of moving stuff around at the end.
Okay, perfect.
So don't let that determine everything that you do. Just be aware of it.
I feel my character is going to be dabbling a little bit in everything. And depending on how this story arc progresses, I wouldn't mind dabbling in it. So, yes, I'm starting off in engineering due to story arc. Mm-hmm. But if for some reason I'm stationed in sciences or medicines because everybody needs a field medic, then I'll start boosting that up. Or however this kind of starts shimmying around.
I am actually a very good field medic.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so...
this is a super science ship. Everyone who's stationed on board, aside from probably your security division and like your top line engineers, and even then your top line engineers, they're scientists. They may not be super science people, but they've had science training. They know their way around the science station. They can assist with science operations. They may not be the lead on a science project, but if you need them to help out, they can be somebody that helps out.
Nice.
You know, I'm actually really glad you said that, because my character is it minored in both science disciplines at the academy, so that actually fits in really well.
Yeah. Whereas, like, the security officer that I made, which is either your chief of security if nobody goes down a security route, or is like an away team officer. She is not a scientist.
Honestly, I could go security, like basically Bard. I am the Bard of the group. I will dabble a little bit in everything.
Just don't ask you to wear a red shirt.
Yeah. Pretty much. Oh, the value I picked that I liked Tucker's suggestion of using a rule of acquisition. The one I have picked is rule of acquisition number 45. Profits have its limits, but losses have none.
Interesting.
So I always thought that one was kind of sad.
Yeah.
I like to think that my character would know that things can be pushed to a certain limit point, but you can lose absolutely everything in pushing it too far, right?
Go back to his quarters and play. You got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him.
You mean
every time I think of that song, I think of that damn ad with Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
I just think that's like, it's so stupid. It's a Geico ad, but I just think that is the funniest damn thing in the world.
Oh, by the way, everybody gets one extra talent, but it's not a game talent. It's you have some kind of a hobby, a personality quirk, something about you that just makes you more of who you are. So use it as a game-breaking thing. For instance, you can have an appreciation for chess, but you cannot have escapology.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What if my hobby is that I'm an amateur professional escape artist?
I'm just a giant space hamster.
Is that how you got away from the Borg?
I'm just messing with you.
So you get one extra focus, but it's got to be a hobby or
Max gets a focus
kind of...
in Tongo, but only when he's playing with non-Ferengi.
Sure.
Because he hates losing that much.
Data.
Now I'm scared because I'd actually thought about making my guy a Tongo player, so I might just keep it. Screw it.
Now I know what the engineering staff does in their off hours.
Oh, that's right. I know why I did this.
So the Hadfield doesn't have a poker game; it has a Tongo game.
Oh, that'll change.
That's like in DS9, right?
Yeah.
It's unlike any other ship in the fleet. We're like the Michigan of Starfleet. Then instead of Euchre, we have Tongo.
So, David?
Yes.
I just want to make sure a particular thing is kosher with you. I am tweaking a game rule, or I'm doing the thing according to the game rules, but I'm tweaking the story of it ever so slightly. Is that okay?
Sure.
Great.
As long as the story makes somewhat canonical sense.
What it is I'm using Vulcan as my homeworld, right? But it says to pick your use. Basically, I'm using the Borg stats because I'm using those stat bonuses. So it says pick one of those.
That's totally fine.
Great. Excellent.
That's fine by me.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so Will, for your character, you've got kind of, I would say engineering is covered. You do have Helm is probably covered.
Yeah, Helm is super covered. I have 12 daring and 5 con.
Helm's covered.
Emergency Helm is covered.
Yeah, Helm and emergency.
We just want to go straight.
But sir, I need to do a loop-de-loop, and then we can go straight.
We need to take the curves at a drift.
Yeah.
List lazily to the left.
What we don't have right now is like a chief science officer. We don't have a chief of security. We don't have a doctor. What Nick and I had talked about, he wants an EMH that was part of the Photons Be Free movement. Kind of where we were going down that EMH road.
Listen, just because I'm the EMH doesn't mean I'm gonna listen to you when you tell me every...
So the EMH could certainly be our chief medical officer, but I'd feel more comfortable with the EMH not being our chief medical.
Are you implying that because I am...
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be a thing. I think it's going to happen.
Sorry.
Tucker?
We're going to make Tucker's secondary character be the EMH.
No, Tucker, anytime there's a doctor scene, you know what you're doing now.
Please state the next officer of the medical emergency.
As long as he can get it without cracking himself up eventually.
I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can. It's just I
Your
love
voice
the
would
Gilbert
blast.
Gottfried impression, and I never get to do it.
No, that's gonna be fantastic. This is how campaigns are built, guys. Will, don't feel like you have to fill any of those specifically, because we do have Craig is going to be stepping in. He's on vacation right now. That's why he could be here tonight. And he's going to be a pretty regular player. So he'll be here. And I've got another friend who was supposed to be here. I don't know what happened to him.
Gotcha.
So
all right. So the first idea that's coming to my head was the character I built for the other game.
Oh yes,
was my
bring him over, please.
My Vorta talking man.
So for people watching it, we are trying to do a State of the Federation reunion show where it's me, Will, David, Robert, and Joseph, and I was trying to run a game of Star Trek Adventures, and it didn't really work out. We're probably not going to release it just because it just wasn't. Mark Rosewater likes to say he plays a lot of bad magic so that we can play good magic. We make a good number of bad shows so that you all can hear good shows. But yeah, no, do it.
Yeah, Will, if you bring him over, that would be a fantastic addition. John, John, Chris, and the audience, to fill you in, will just go describe your character because you can do it better justice than any of us.
Gotcha. All I gotta do is remember what the heck his name was. All right, Yorin. Because everyone at the Academy made fun of me as the first Vorta after the Dominion surrender, as the first Vorta admitted to Starfleet, and they all laughed and was like, "Ha ha, Yorin." Vorta have great sense of humor.
It's a great pun.
I thought it was gonna be something with Uranus or something, you know. And
well,
no, it's the play on you're in.
Vorta have very strange senses of humor. After all, they're all the ones that aren't still worshiping the founders as gods since they lost a war are still kind of looking and figuring out their place in the universe. That's kind of where Yorin fits in. He was a very odd one of the Dominion to start with. He was on one of the border worlds and very bored in the Dominion. But he did find, while he was out and about doing his commanding of the Jem'Hadar to, take supplies and basically a tax collector for the outer worlds, he did find many fascinating things about other cultures. So when the opportunity arose after the war was ended, to start integrating into the Federation, someplace he had never seen before, with hundreds of worlds and hundreds of species. He took that as a sign and signed right up. So Yorin is a fairly eccentric person. He is the least physical person you can possibly be and still be a Vorta. By the way, this character was originally built off the Denobulan stats before I found the stats at the end, but it still works.
It absolutely does, yeah.
But so he joins in. He has no ability to do anything physical, but he is fascinated by anthropology, psychology, building anything, whether it be organic or technological. So he is a scientist, medical, and engineering triple threat. And his security command and con are like nothing.
Primarily medical science, right?
Primarily science, because I think what I really wanted him to go for was kind of the archaeological, anthropological kind of part of Picard.
Okay.
But also kind of being a Vorta, he is also very glib and a little sociopathic by human standards. Because he's still learning to fit in with how the rest of the universe views morality.
6, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't worry, guys. Yorin won't cause any problems whatsoever. I promise.
Totally not.
All right.
Nothing to do with those lights we saw in the Romulan neutral zone.
How many of them were there?
27? Or were there
40?
Were there 4 lights?
There are 4 lights.
Still don't know what that's not.
Because of course there were actually 3 lights.
No, 5.
Couldn't go with that. But yeah, so
7 lights.
So Yorin likes to figure things out. He likes to learn new things. He is high on the insight, but he is a little bit reckless sometimes since he's still trying to figure out what is okay, socially speaking. So his reason's a little bit low. However, like all good Vorta, he has some very good. He has a great presence. They just talk, and you want to talk to them, and they're such nice people all the time. And they definitely listen to you. They totally would never lie to you until they have to. So,
by the way, I have finished making up my spreadsheet, and the math does check out. So I'm happy to tell everybody about my character whenever if you want to.
Give me a second. I gotta tell you guys this. So the Luna class, I know you, has 4 shuttles, and we came up with some really cool names for these shuttles. Andrew Parks, the Chris Guild, the Peter Smith, and the Jordan Cott. Those are the 2 designers of Attack Wing and the 2 world champions of Attack Wing.
Nice.
So we've got one in tremendous disrepair that needs a lot of patching. We've got one that's part Borg.
Yes.
We've got one that left about 2 years ago, and we haven't seen it since.
Which is weird because the ship is just about to launch next week.
And we've got one that mysteriously appeared by the power of Q.
Yeah. Yeah, weird.
We don't know that.
It's great because if any of these ships get blown up, we're actually talking about real people.
That's awkward.
Yeah. So,
sorry, Andrew.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
You're a good ship.
Sorry, Andrew. We promise not to blow your ship up first. I can't make that promise, actually. I'm sorry. What ship would you rather me blow up first?
Well, obviously, the Andrew Park ship is an older version that hasn't been updated recently. So,
I would absolutely never be caught in the Jordan Cott.
Yorin gets that reference.
Tucker, you're all caught up.
Yes, I am, because that was the name of my write-up.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm lobbying. So there are also 2 runabouts that have yet to be named. I'm lobbying Nick to name one of them the Vander Yacht.
That's the captain's yacht.
No.
The Vander Yacht, huh? I get it. But no, the other one could be the Kyle Payne, following the schema.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that should happen.
Well, we can't have the Terry Latorco?
That should happen, too, yeah.
That's the captain's yacht.
The Terry?
Is that too meta? I feel like that's too meta.
As long as you guys keep the jokes clean, we're good.
You'd better stick to the Andrew.
I think... I have actually met... I think most of us... All of us that have been to Origins have met all of these people in real life. Like, I think we can trust ourselves to be respectful.
I've not met Chris Guild, but aside from that, I've met everybody.
That's right. You know what? I haven't met Chris Guild either. I have met the rest of them though.
Yeah,
they're cool people.
They are. Andrew is amazing.
Andrew's so nice. Terry is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're gushing over internet and gaming personalities,
yes. Chris, you need more character stuff.
Yes, I probably do.
You do. Your upbringing. That's what's next here.
Okay.
So, I know you weren't raised in Starfleet. So here's the rest of your options. Business, trade, agriculture, rural, science, tech.
Do you really need to read the rest of them?
Yeah, I heard trade, and I'm like, that's almost spot on.
Do you need business? Because business is what it says.
Yeah. Are the two separate?
Did you? No, they're the same.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you accept or rebel against this upbringing?
Fully accept.
Great. You up your daring by 1 and your presence by 2.
Oh, holy. So, sorry, daring goes up by 1.
Yes.
And presence goes up by 2?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Right.
And don't worry, this is not about being overpowered. This is just what it is.
This is about being able to push a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just trying to make deals happen. You then increase command, engineering, or science.
I guess engineering would be that.
Sure.
So where would the command where would that be under? Or would that just be
those are your disciplines.
Oh, under disciplines.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right, then you get a focus.
Okay.
So what focuses do is if you have a focus that's applicable to the role we're trying to make, then instead of a 1 and only a 1 being a crit, then your discipline becomes the crit threshold.
Okay.
So like if I say make an engineering insight roll.
Okay.
And you have a focus in warp theory. Then if your engineering was 5, then if you roll a 5 or lower, that's a crit.
Okay.
So those are what focuses are.
Okay.
They are things that when they're applicable, they help you crit. So you get a focus that should relate to the nature of the family business, covering skills that are valuable during trade or which were useful to the family business in other ways. Such examples might include finances, geology, linguistics, manufacturing, metallurgy, negotiation, survey.
All right.
So you can go beyond that, but if one of those sounds good, go with that.
I'm definitely thinking like metallurgy, and there was one before that. Manufacturing.
There's also negotiation.
Yeah, I think
you might want negotiation.
Yeah, that does sound good. Yeah, so I'll probably go focus negotiation.
Okay. You do end up with 6 focuses.
Okay.
And then you get a talent. And for talent, just write like to be named later. We'll go through talents at the end.
Okay.
Because there's a whole big page of talents that you take, and some of them have requirements based on your final disciplines.
Okay.
You can't take them unless you reach that. All right. Anybody else need a hand in character building, or am I good to keep going with Chris?
I
keep going. Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm happy to provide my character as a finished example of the process at any point you would like it. But please finish with everybody else first if you like.
Me too. Mine's already done. And I have all the steps written down.
Awesome. So you're not going through Starfleet Academy, but I'm going to use your kind of life experiences and call it Starfleet Academy.
Okay.
Or did you actually go to the Academy?
No.
Yeah, you kind of got like a field commission, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So we'll say, family business, life experience, everything you did in the campaign that you did.
Okay.
That's kind of enabled you to call it Starfleet Academy.
Okay.
How did Rom get into the Starfleet?
He was Bajor.
Yeah, because they just kind of promoted him straight into it, didn't they? He didn't go to the academy.
Yeah, yeah. So, you would be operations track because that's engineering focus, correct?
Okay.
I
guess it makes
so you
sense
gain
that
a single value, which should reflect some aspect of your beliefs that develop during your learning time.
Okay.
The time learning all the skills that you did. So I'll throw it to you this way. Some value that represents the things you learned during the campaign that happened on your channel.
Okay. Well, more or less, it would be something in the engineering field because it was stripping down ships, rebuilding, stealing a blade of armor, which that could actually be sciences in a regard.
Yeah. It could be something like,
yeah. Yeah.
Hey, rules of acquisition.
Yes.
But yeah, find a rule of acquisition that's something like, I can make that work.
Let me. I've got a list right here.
Okay, we'll come back to the value. Fix that up. For attributes, this is where you're going to have to pick. You get 3 attribute points. You can split them up however you want. Either 3 things get 1 each, or 1 thing gets 2 and another gets 1. What you can't do is give 1 thing 3.
Okay. So that is for my
the top
the attributes. So 1 can get 2, 1 can get 1.
Yeah, or 3 things can get 1.
Or 3 things can get 1. Okay.
Yep. However you want to, whatever you want to increase.
And obviously, nothing can go over 12.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might just keep going with insight and presence.
You can go over 12, but then at the end you can bring it back down and you give them to something else. So if you want to go over, go over.
So you know what? I might take my insight. I might take to 11, and my presence to 11. Both of them would be boosted up to that level.
Take it up to 11.
All the way to 11.
This one goes to 11. Oh, that's
okay. Now you.
Hey, David, I'm not going to have to do that janky thing I told you about.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that works. Now you studied engineering. Rings increased by 2.
Okay, done.
2 minors, so 2 other things you learned on the job that each go up by 1.
Okay, so I'm going to boost security and science by 1.
I think that works. Actually, in watching your campaign, I think command more than science makes sense.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
But if you want to justify science, I can see a justification for science.
I could go command because yes, he does have the ability to at one point strip a blade of armor off a Borg ship. At one point, they've adapted to it, so that's no longer a thing.
Right.
But that could have been just acquired technology. He might have not even done anything scientifically to make that happen. That could have been just.
That sounds more like an engineering thing, because take into account that science covers more theoretical things and also includes things like history, anthropology, psychology, and things like that.
Agreed.
More abstract.
Yeah, if you were trying to reverse engineer it, well, that would be engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll boost command up by 1 point. Give me a 2 in command.
Okay. And then you get 3 focuses, at least one of which should relate to engineering in some way. So some examples of focuses: computers, cybernetics, Electroplasma power systems. Espionage.
Self-sealing stem bolts.
No, that's an example of a focus that is too narrow, I should think.
Yeah.
Way too narrow and way non-applicable. Survival. Warp field dynamics. What's the first one you took?
I took negotiation.
Negotiation. Yeah. So something with engineering. You could take warp field theory. You could take power systems.
Could appraisal be a talent? Or, sorry, a focus?
Focus.
Because
Appraisal.
he's part merchant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take appraisal.
Yeah. Like, that wouldn't be your engineering talent.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, your engineering focus. Got to make sure I get my words right. But yeah, appraisal can certainly be something you learned on the job, knowing what something's worth. Yeah.
What about schematics? Would that be an engineering skill?
That's a little broad.
Okay.
Well, talk more to me about it.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
So you would be like looking at, or let me ballpark. You would like look at a ship's schematics and try to find the valuable parts of it.
Or and just the locations of it, maybe. Like every Federation ship, we all know where the warp core typically is housed. So
sure,
stuff like that. Of course, it would
how would you use it? When would you see it coming into play?
If at all we had to disable a ship in any sort of way, I would know exactly where plasma conduits are, or power relays, or the weapons arrays, or something like that. I could probably quickly and accurately target key locations.
That sounds more like some kind of
that's a security
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
knowledge of architecture and engineering, darn it. Oh wait, that's wrong system.
How about target locks? Sounds like what you're after, right?
Yeah, if you want to call that target locks.
Perfect. Locking onto things, be it by whatever means, transport or...
Actually, transporting...
Structural weakness. All kinds of things you can call these stuff.
So I'm kind of hoping that... Well, what I'll be doing is writing out a lot more about your characters so that I have better ideas about where things will come into play. But it's also going to be a back and forth. So, like, if you think that your focus might come into play on a role, it's up to you guys to tell me that and say, hey, this is what I think this does, and this is why I think this works. And, like, yeah, that works.
Tucker, are you okay?
What if when he got liberated, he chose Gilbert Gottfried's voice?
And his look, he is freaking Gilbert Gottfried.
I shouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
And as the chief engineer, I won't fix him.
Should not have asked.
It cracks me up.
It just popped into my head, and it goes.
That would be yeah.
Every hologram that gets liberated looks through all the historical databases and can choose who they want to be.
And they go, that guy.
I want... So basically, the EMH was watching old Disney films and went, that parrot from Aladdin. I want that voice. I want to be the parrot.
That's all I keep thinking of every time Tucker starts saying stuff.
Or Digit from Cyber Chase, or any of his stand-up routine.
They come back and be like, what have you guys done to ruin my idea?
All right, so
from that surprise.
This might be a little metagaming here, but maybe you want to take holo programming so we can do something about the EMH.
Yeah,
because he's
You
going
must have found some holo emitters in a jungle somewhere.
Listen. Listen. If he takes programming, we will have a holodeck malfunction adventure. Do you want that?
Yes.
Ah!
With the G. Look, I'm gonna tell you guys this. You're going to have one way or the other.
What if it was the holodeck characters started sounding like?
So what if we put holodeck emitters down every single hallway? That way, if we ever get invaded,
way, if we ever want to recreate World War II,
those are our standard. Two ships have holo emitters spread throughout the ship, so that the EMH can go anywhere.
Oh, good. So if I take programming of the EMH, he could be the size of a flea and then instantly transform into the Hulk and punch an enemy and then go back to being a flea, crawl through an air vent, and just randomly shapeshift through things at my programming's command and just ruin everything.
Basically, you're turning the EMH into a founder.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
It's not that you have...
and that's why I'm on this ship.
Yeah, you wouldn't have EMH programming. You'd have holodeck programming.
Yeah, I tease, of course, with that one because that is almost a bit too ridiculous.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
At some point, like, about Star Trek is like the nice thing about us all being Trek fans is like we know that Star Trek falls apart under very close scrutiny, right? Like. The actual answer is, why would you have a ship's crew at all? Why would you just not program, like, you just program holograms and send them everywhere, right? Because you can do solid light holograms. So why in the world would you not do that? So
the Voyager episode about that?
I think they did.
Or were they all
two medical holograms flew the Prometheus.
The book does mention that in some of the flavor text, but...
Right.
I was going to say, if you look through the book, there's probably a reason that holograms does not appear in the index anywhere.
Right. I will say the best. So one of the new therapeutic programs for you guys is a holographic Targ in a bow tie. I am ripping that direct Sundries campaign, but it is brilliant.
Does it sing old crooners tunes?
Sure.
Does it?
Well, Vic Fontaine's there petting it.
Does it sing
old?
Does it sing old crooner tunes, but only when only Will's character is around?
Ooh.
You can ask Vic very nicely.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime. No, sorry.
That's not really crooners.
But goes there a lot to study old Earth culture. Or rather, Yorin does. So Yorin is studying old Earth culture from Vic Fontaine and a holo Targ in a bow tie.
Can the holo Targ in a bow tie recreate Hamlet in the original Klingon?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Why am I leaving the holodeck ever? Am I going to become a Barclay?
That choice is up to you. But yeah, I'm worried now to even look at YouTube to see the comments that have happened. We've lost our viewership.
Oh, that's right. This is being broadcast, isn't it?
Yeah, don't worry.
I had to close my Firefox that was watching it because apparently Firefox doesn't do Google Hangouts anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
It's almost as if they don't want to support a platform that is manufactured by a company that makes a competing browser.
That's crazy talk. Why would anyone think of that?
Maybe. All right, Chris. Yeah, Chris, focuses. How many focus do you have now? Foci?
I guess negotiations and target lock are the two that I have thus far.
Okay. So then you have two more, because at this point you should have 4. So that's fine. You need something engineering, because that target lock, I think, engineering flair to it, but
it's not exactly like mainstream what's going
on.
What is there?
So, like, if you had to be here, John, what's your character focus in?
My focus is?
Yeah.
For reasons of backstory, some of these are because of reasons of backstory, but I've got emergency medicine, computers, so generic programming like that.
Sure.
Structural engineering, because he's an engineer.
Okay.
Linguistics, that comes from backstory.
Okay.
Survival and hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. So you're a structural engineer and an overall computer guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chris, it would make sense for you to be maybe like a warp field theorist or a power guy.
I can go with power. Yeah, sure. The power,
like
a power systems and everything like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you could say like EPS, or just power systems even. I don't think power systems is not too broad for me, because if the engineering problem isn't power related, your focus might come into play.
Perfect.
You could also be a diagnostic engineer. You'd be good with troubleshooting. You could take diagnostics.
I like that. Yeah, sure. Perfect.
Okay. So then you're like the right-hand guy when it's what's going wrong.
Yeah.
Now, John may have a talent that helps him do it better anyways, but
yes,
it sometimes doesn't hurt to have two people that can do stuff. And you could take both. You could also still be a power guy and have both focuses.
I like it. I jotted both down.
Cool.
And the methods could be very different as well too, because Vax isn't a very rigidly trained. He's kind of gleaned information from other examples, so he doesn't have finesse when it comes to putting things together. Meanwhile, a fully trained engineer would be able to make things by the book.
You know what I'm actually thinking at this point? John, you are definitely the chief engineer, but Vax might be like a part-time engineer and then more like our transporter chief. Like, obviously not chief in terms of rank, but the head transporter operator.
Hello, O'Brien.
Yeah.
We can make a comic about you.
We definitely could.
Day job.
All right. So now, you also get a talent. Again, we'll hit talents at the end.
Okay.
So, now you have a career. So now you are in Starfleet.
Okay.
So you're a young officer. Would you be a young officer at this point? Because you're an ensign.
Yeah, I would be.
Or are you a lieutenant?
I think it would be rank ensign as a career. It would not be a high rank.
I mean, your rank does not necessarily influence your age. You got to consider that like a young officer counts as like someone straight out of high school, early college, you know.
Right.
Whereas most officers are actual full-blown adults.
Yeah.
Because
are you the Wesley?
I probably would not be the Wesley.
Yeah, because you have experience. You have lifetime experience, which is taken into account.
Yeah.
Harry Kim still counts as a regular officer.
Okay. Then you're an experienced officer.
Yeah.
Been in Starfleet, you're an experienced officer.
Okay.
So we'll say that. So you get a value, any value you want. and you get a talent, any talent you want.
Okay.
So
So
again, that'll be
value?
the value will be another rule of acquisition. The talent we'll get to in a second.
Okay.
I don't think you should you don't have to be married to the rules of acquisition thing. I just think it's a fun thing to do.
I think it's great. There will be my next one probably should be more engineering based than rule of acquisition based, but it is a very, very nice thing to work in.
Probably one of them is engineering based in terms of a value. That would be a good thing. But because you end up with, is it 3 values?
4 values.
Yeah.
And I think one value has to be tied to relationships with people.
That is removed in the errata.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that might change one of my values then.
Good, because that's that was the thing out of the entire rule set that I liked the least. And then in the errata, they're like, yeah, that's not actually a thing.
I need to go find the errata then because I haven't read that yet.
Yeah,
I think that's really the only one that's really sort of important.
It's the most important one by leaps and bounds. Okay, so some career events. What has happened in the life of Vax?
Oh,
Would you like to roll?
Yeah, would you like random career events or would you like predetermined? Would you like to choose your career events?
How many events do I get? Is there
you get 2 and there are 20 possibilities.
Okay, let's do the first one as a random event that I've never knew about the character, just to liven things up a bit.
That's fun. I love it.
And then the second one, make it based off the campaign.
Okay, roll a d20. Tell me what you roll.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
First roll
roll
of the campaign.
It's the first roll.
I have a chance cube here.
I rolled a 19.
A 19.
Oh, I had one of those.
You made a breakthrough or an invention.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Works for me.
He figured out how to replicate Latinum.
You certainly could.
You want to crash that
economy.
Oh, okay, hold on. Somebody just started echoing.
That would literally turn it into season 3, episode 1 of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the breakthrough or invention. You made an important technological discovery, devised a new way of using a particular technology, or invented some new technology that will be invaluable in the future.
Okay.
So what you need to do... No. What you need to do, and not necessarily now, but sometime between now and when we get going on the actual campaign, write down, message me, what was the discovery, breakthrough, or invention, and how will it be useful? Doesn't have to be useful to us.
Yeah.
But...
Well, let's go with the target lock motif. Vax's player card for Star Trek Attack Wing was he could, with shields up, beam any card he wanted to his ship and immediately apply it to himself, which I abuse for stealing Borg ablative.
Yeah.
Now that is irrelevant now, but I could make that the breakthrough invention. It ties through target locking. Say I found this technology on a crashed starship somewhere, derelict and forgotten, refurbished it to my purposes, got it working, and abused the snot out of it for months to come.
Okay. Works for
and
me.
I feel like that's something that could really come up during the adventure, right? Is your ability to beam through shields. That seems useful.
Yeah, and I specifically made it that the Borg adapted to it. That came up because it's right. OP. It was very OP.
The Borg have adapted to it.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that other species have adapted to it.
Perfect.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So, any one attribute increased by 1.
Any attribute? So let's up daring a little bit. Vax is, if I assume daring is if you're very bold and
yes,
yeah.
Daring is what you use to make evasive maneuvers and to make attacks.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Well, hand-to-hand attacks, but you get the point.
Perfect. You know what? Let's up daring to a 9.
And then your engineering gets increased by 1.
Okay, so that's a 6 now.
And that'll get changed, but
okay,
it's a 6 now.
Okay, now it's okay. Cool.
You gain a focus reflecting the character's achievement.
Okay.
So
transporters and replicators is a focus that's listed in the engineering track in Starfleet.
There you go.
I mean, there's also specific ones for the event,
like improvisation, invention, experimental technology, experimental transporter.
Yeah.
If you want to say transport through shields as a focus, like then
that's what I got. Yeah,
that will let you do that.
Okay. So.
Yeah, definitely be the transporter chief now.
Yes.
So I have 4 focuses already. Would that bump one of them?
No, that becomes your 5th.
You can have 6, or you have to have 6.
You get 6th, and a 7th is kind of the flavor focus that will be your hobby or pastime.
David, what's the most number of event dice I'd ever need?
Yes. That you would need 5.
Cool. I bought from my friendly local game store. I bought these blank cubes, and I've been making them into event dice.
Effect dice. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, effect dice. Yeah, whatever they're called.
And if you don't, like, if you guys don't have the dice, standard D6 will work. There's a conversion.
I know. It's so much easier for me to actually just roll the stupid things. And besides, I'm supporting my friendly local gaming store.
Always a good thing.
And I'm not paying international shipping.
Yeah, I bought a board cube, so
have fun with that.
Oh yeah, I will. I will definitely have fun with my board cube.
I always do. You know what we say? We are the Borg. The Borg are amazing.
Tastes just like raisins.
That's the next line.
Very high in iron.
Will, you may not barbecue Tucker.
But iron.
But we can go hunt some Borg, and you can barbecue them.
See,
Tucker
that was one of those moments where your mic cut out for a second, so I couldn't tell if you're saying boar or Borg, and then I combined the two to have assimilated boars.
Well, Will, you missed it earlier. Why did the Borg cross the road? Because they assimilated a chicken.
It would be illogical. It would be illogical for the collective to assimilate a lesser life form.
And that is why they assimilated the Targ that wears a bow tie.
A superior life form.
It is.
Is it a superior intellect? Will?
Have you talked to it? I am in the holodeck right now singing a great rendition of It's Not Unusual with this Targ.
Will, never mind.
The Targ singing along in Klingon, by the way.
Of course. The original language.
Yeah. Actually, wasn't the original language Denobulan?
Possibly.
Okay. Chris, since you kind of rolled into a campaign event, do you want to roll randomly again, or would you prefer to pick?
You know what? Let's roll randomly again. Let's take the chance on the dice.
Okay. So if you hit 19, just roll.
He doesn't get played.
I have a 9 this time.
A 9. You were mentored.
Ah, that's fascinating.
Fascinating. This will be good.
What do you get?
So,
fascinating.
9.
You got mentored.
Oh yeah, I got that one. That's a fun one.
Yeah. So a highly respected officer or a highly respected Ferengi took notice of you. And for a time, you were just under their wing. They were showing you the ropes.
Wouldn't that be maybe a parental figure if they owned a space station of the shipyard originally?
It certainly could.
They would have been my mentor in the past.
Could be like an apprenticeship. That would fit Ferengi.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, that works for me. So you again get to increase any attribute by 1.
Okay. Now again, I control. What was that again? That's what is it? What is it?
Control is kind of your ability to steady yourself, to not show your hand.
Okay.
It's weird though. It's more than just that. Like it's also the stat you use for most sensor operations for some reason.
Okay.
The ability to remain focused and still pay attention.
There you go.
Well, let's do that. Let's bump that up to a 9 now.
Knowledgeable.
And then for a discipline, you get. See, so this is where it's weird. Because it takes it from a Starfleet sense, you are serving as their pilot, so you get a boost to your con. You wouldn't be doing that as a in the Ferengi apprenticeship.
David, especially after the last rounds of Worlds, I am pretty sure Ferengi have shuttles.
Yes. So if you want to boost your con, feel free.
Cool.
If you would like to boost security, acting more as like a bodyguard, you can do that too. So one or the other.
Let's give a
con or security.
Let's give a push to security.
Okay. And Tucker, I agree with you that Ferengi do have shuttles. I absolutely buy that fact.
No. Honestly, David, I am just going to use this as an excuse to make as many Star Trek attack wing references as I possibly can.
I agree.
Playing to the audience.
And then you gain a focus reflecting the lessons you learned while you were apprenticing directly from your parents. So some examples they give: composure, etiquette. And then they say any focus that reflects the officer's specialities.
So I might, for that, I might go back to the business and trade list, right?
Yeah. So let's do business. Would that be an option? Entrepreneurship?
It would be. Yeah, let me just look at this again. Because you took negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, business is too broad. Okay. But and even like entrepreneurship is a little too broad.
What about etiquette? I like etiquette would be a neat one.
Yeah.
If that's an option.
And all of the Legend of 5 ring RPG players in the audience go wild.
And yeah, etiquette works because a bit to your diplomatic senses.
And it's not going to be overbearing. It's basically knowing how to present myself to alien races or
that's it.
Right?
You're a bit
good because overbearing is my job.
That's what you've done. Now we get your final finishing touches.
Okay.
You get one final value.
Okay.
You can figure that out.
One final value for values. Yes.
That reflect your career events, or it can represent some other element of your character.
How many values will I have total by this point?
4 total values.
So I'll look into and work on those for sure.
Yeah. So you cannot have any attribute above 12.
Okay, I'm good.
You can only have one attribute at 12, if any.
Okay. So none of my traits are there. I have 2 at 11.
That's fine. That's totally fine. Then you can increase 2 attributes by 1 each.
Okay, so that's something.
Still only having 1 at 12.
Okay.
So
let's get my so insight and control. Let's get those up. So I will have a 12 in insight.
Then that's fine. That makes sense for Ferengi.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. So for disciplines, you can't have anything above 5. Engineering went to 6.
Engineering's at 6. Yep.
So reduce that down to 5 and move that point to anything you want.
Okay.
And you will get 1 discipline. You have 2 more discipline points after that.
Okay.
So you can spend that point wherever you want, and then you have 2 more points that you have to split up.
Okay.
So essentially you have 3 points, spend them how you want.
Okay.
Just not all in the same place.
Yes. So let's go con, command, security. 111. So that would be 3 command, 4 security, and 2 con.
And what's your medicine at this point?
1. Vax I really didn't see as a medical officer.
No, that's fine. It's just if you're going to be doing any kind of like counseling type things, that uses medicine rolls. But that's fine.
That's it?
Yeah.
I think that uses science. I'm pretty sure because psychology was on the list of things that did.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll go science.
That's how
I'll make it go science. How about that? I guess if you're counseling someone, it'll be science. Like if you're bartending it. But if you're actually trying to heal somebody or fix somebody, that would be medicine.
Okay.
Term therapy. That's medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Final check. Your attributes should add up to 56.
Okay. So let's get my math. If only I knew somebody in this chat that had math as a thing. If only.
Well, none of us know math, so that'd be just silly.
I don't know how to read.
Okay, so what was the magical number there, Dave?
56.
Boom, right on.
Awesome. And then your disciplines should add up to 16.
All right. Let's see here.
That should be easier math.
Yeah. Boom, 16.
Awesome. And then you end up with 4 values, 4 talents, and 6 focuses.
Perfect. All right.
Okay. Now, you do get a 7th focus. Again, I don't imagine this coming into play outside of... But a hobby of Vax that has nothing to do with his life as an engineer. Just like something he might do for fun, collect for fun. Is he a stamp collector? Old Andorian coins? Like,
let's make something. Let's make go really random and out there. Let's make him a classical artist.
Okay.
Canvas. Doesn't mean he's
good
at it. It just he's pastime, right?
So data, right? Like data, sort of.
Yeah.
Data dabbled in art. So give Vax a focus in classical art.
Perfect.
And that will probably never come into play, but you have it.
It's neat. It's a neat character trait to have.
And so everybody else does that. Just pick some random thing that will probably never come into play, but I want you to have it because it might come into play.
It might come into play because we have it.
Yes. The other thing that I want you all to do and not in chat, but I want you to send me a message with secret about your character that nobody else knows.
About
some kind of
a what?
Some kind of secret. A secret. Some kind of goal or motivation that your character has.
What if
like
it would...
why are you here? What are you hoping to accomplish? Like, are you here to make your resume look good, to get a promotion? Are you here to explore? You know, just what are you looking to do?
It could be the entire... Oh, do I mention what the secret event is now, or do I just...
No. Send me a message with it.
Okay. I think you might know what I'm going to go with, but yeah.
I might. And then some kind of a vice that your character has. Because Star Trek characters are renowned for their vices.
I think we all know what Vax's vice is going to be.
Yes, but...
doesn't have to be, but I think typically we know what it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think Rom was swayed by Latinum as much as, say, Quark was.
But if you don't have a vice, that's okay.
Okay,
but
I like it.
If you can think of something, it doesn't have to be terrible.
Yeah,
but just
it's
some kind of a thing, because it creates backstory to the character. It makes them feel more real.
Yeah.
And like, for example, like hearing that, David, I'm not going to have a vice, but specifically because my character is in some ways still so disconnected from reality, right? Because formerly assimilated Vulcan, not exactly known for going out and partying, right? But that's actually sort of a character flaw in a way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a vice. It can just be a flaw.
Right. At that point, it becomes more of a character trait, just who you are, which is almost represented in values and just the way that you're going to play the character. I mean,
sorry, I still have it. I still have a trait of a pickle on my Starfleet personnel file.
A Borg Vulcan has a lot of backstory built in. A lot of these are built for the humans that are built because it's tough to role play a human character, because there's nothing inherently interesting about a human until you start delving into them specifically. Whereas you know what a Klingon brings to the table, or what a Tellarite or a Vulcan or an Andorian bring to the table, just because they're different.
Well, either that or they're not going to bring that to the table, and that's interesting in and of itself, right?
Correct. And then if you guys want to think up some amount of your service time in Starfleet, that would be helpful as well. Like, I'm not looking for exact times, dates, ship histories, but get to where you are. Like, notable postings. Were you on board the Enterprise, Deep Space Nine, those sorts of things. Obviously, for a lieutenant, this isn't a long story. Will, you have a great backstory. It doesn't involve Starfleet. You don't need as much detail here. But like John, having a bit of backstory about some postings for your character would be good, and it might tie in some different events and characters that I might bring in that aren't in this chat.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got some.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, there's one that'll probably come up, is that he's one of the few survivors of the Borg attack on Earth during First Contact.
Oh, that's going to be awkward.
Yeah. He was on one of the few ships to survive it before Picard was able to shut him down.
Okay.
So we're legal. So we're literally going to be that scene in Emissary Part 1 where Cisco's talking to Picard.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very first episode.
Just has to keep his fist to his side, not in your face, right? Yeah.
I was on the U.S.S. Saratoga. Sorry, it's like just Avery Brooks has such a weird style of talking to me.
Yeah,
he emphasizes such weird syllables.
Yeah, I'm rewatching DS9 now, and it works a lot better in the later seasons, but it's really hard to keep up with.
Oh, Chris, stress is equal to your fitness plus security.
I got 11 on that. The sheet's filling itself out for that.
Cool. Oh, that's handy. And then your department is where your highest discipline is. For you, it's going to be transporters, engineering/transporters.
Yeah.
And then for rank, you can be maybe a lieutenant JG.
Perfect.
I'll let you make a call there. You can.
Oh, that sounds great to me.
Because I know in your campaign you were probably an ensign.
Yes.
But maybe by now you've been in Starfleet a little bit. This is now the second ship you've served on.
Yeah.
Maybe even the third ship.
Could be even, yeah, the USS Aurora has gone on to a different way, or whatever story arc that has occurred. So yeah, now it's on.
So there's been some time that maybe a promotion got involved here.
Yep.
Lieutenant
so I'm
JG
looking at
makes sense.
I was just gonna say I'm looking at the TV tropes page for Deep Space Nine, and there's a picture of the main cast, right? And it says under it the main characters of Deep Space Nine, not pictured: Ezri Nog, Rom Lita, Garrick Dukat, Win Bareil, Keiko Mali, Damar Wayoon, Galron Martok, Zial Morn, ...
Yeah, Deep Space Nine had a lot of regular characters.
Seriously?
Well, Morn was only in like 40 episodes.
He was a very great conversation partner.
He was
fantastic.
Hey, he had one of the best spotlight episodes in Star Trek, okay?
That he did.
There's no latinum in any of these. It's all just useless gold.
Wait. I'm looking on IMDb to find out how many episodes he actually was in.
Why are you should look in Memory Alpha.
Probably be faster.
I don't think does it actually say it on there?
I still know that Jake has been in the most episodes of Star Trek. Hard in Attack Wing.
Is that true?
173.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in every episode of Deep Space Nine.
Well, better question. Who cares?
Well, yeah, but Neelix missed.
I remember when he was a custom card for all the time, because people were like, "Hey, how come we have Cisco but no one else?"
Yeah.
In fact, the one that I did one of him myself, and he ended up being the doctor from Voyager.
Yeah.
Exact same effect. 2 months earlier.
It's like somebody was watching you or something.
Doubtful. It wasn't that. Yeah. It's not that hard to come up with that simple ability. Action, remove all disabled counters.
True. But
yeah, it doesn't say how many episodes he was on in Memory Alpha. He does have 17 siblings, though. All right, so where does that leave us now?
I can do it, but I think Chris. Oh, Chris, talents. That's where it leaves us. Chris, you need talents.
Yes.
You must be talented.
I am almost there.
Oh man!
To get to the right page.
So here's an interesting theory. You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Okay. So why does Julian Bashir get augmented? It's because he has like super health problems or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his parents are special.
Mirror Bashir did not get those augments, and he's fine.
He's also a jerk.
They're all jerks. You could call like Deep Space jerks.
He's not exactly a genius in the mirror universe either.
Right, but here's my point: is that the theory is that there's nothing wrong with young Bashir, and his parents just wanted him to be a genius.
Oh, fair enough.
Interesting. Okay. So, Chris, here are some. There's a lot of talents here, but there's some generic talents that exist to start. I think the way to do this is to give you things, and then we can circle back to like. So
These
you
are
can
your
have
D&D feats. These are things that have a direct ability on dice rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is like the mechanics of the game.
All right.
Everything else was, I mean, your numbers were, but values are a little fluffy. But yeah, this is crunch. So you could have bold, and you choose a discipline. So you have like bold engineering, bold command.
Okay.
When you attempt a task with that discipline and you buy one or more D20s by adding threat, which is stuff for me to use later to make your life more complicated, you can re-roll a single D20.
Okay, and what does that cost? For say like
talents.
Okay, so I take engineering, right?
If you wanted to go that route.
Cool.
I'm not advising you. I'm giving you that as an option.
Yes. So basically, I choose a discipline, engineering, and I re-roll one extra D20.
Yes, but only when you buy one or more D20s by giving me threat.
Okay, gotcha.
So here, the way the system works, any task that I have you make a roll for, you get 2 D20.
Okay.
You can spend momentum, threat, 1 threat for 1 additional die, or 3 threat or 3 momentum for 2 additional dice.
Okay.
Or 6 for 3 additional dice.
Yes, or 6 for 3 additional dice. So each die costs 1 more than the previous die.
How much momentum do I get each game?
So momentum is pooled between all the player characters. You generate momentum anytime you over-succeed.
Okay, gotcha.
So if I set the difficulty at 1 and you roll 3 successes, you now have 2 momentum. You could spend that momentum right away to ask additional questions, gain more information, to do something more. So like if we're in combat, you could spend an extra momentum to knock somebody out or to attempt to knock somebody out.
Gotcha.
Rather than just inflicting the damage that you do. Those sorts of things.
Okay.
Or you can pool that momentum up to a maximum of 6. And then that momentum is available to anyone to spend on future turns. There's other things that momentum can be used for. That's the primary use of momentum.
Okay.
So,
hey, David. real quick. Are you going to be getting into the gritty of like each individual talent here from here on?
Well, I'm going to try to give him some details. I'm not going to get into like the gritty of like every command talent, but I'll go through like each of the generics and then probably the engineering. And if he wants more on other ones, then I'll go through more. Yeah. So if you want to bug off, you certainly can.
Yeah. If you're going to be doing that, yeah, I'm going to get back to my wonderful hurricane preparation.
All right. Hey, Will, thank you for showing up. You stay safe.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy.
Good luck, look Chris. Forward to playing with Good you luck. Soon.
Take care. Stay safe.
I hope so. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
All right. So cautious is like the reverse of bold. It's the same thing as bold, except you get it when you spend momentum to buy dice.
Okay. So
and you
bold,
cautious and bold. Threat. Yeah. So bold for threat, cautious for momentum. So you can make a call there if you like those. I haven't used either of those with any of my character builds because I've liked other talents better.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying you might want to go that route, being a transporter guy.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to.
The command, would that be the discipline for transport or con?
Engineering for sure.
Okay.
And then I would say, I would probably say control engineering makes sense for me.
Okay.
For a lot of transporter stuff. Now, granted, I'm not going to have you be rolling like everyday transporter stuff. If somebody's like, if we're in normal standard orbit and you're just trying to beam somebody down,
yeah,
for the most part, you're just going to beam somebody down. Actually, I probably will have you roll for it, but it's not going to be difficult. It's those emergency beam outs. It's stuff like that you're going to have to make the roll.
Like, hey, can you beam the captain out even though you need pattern enhancers and it's a plasma storm and the ground is shifting and Romulan ship is trying to cloak beam them up at the same time? It's like you're stacking the odds against the roll.
Right. And you're capable of doing those things.
But it's a chance of failure because it's more complex.
Going to be difficult. Yeah. There's collaboration. When you choose you must choose a single discipline when you select this talent. When an ally attempts to do a task using that discipline, they can spend momentum, you spend momentum to allow them to use your score and one of your focuses. So if somebody was trying to do an engineering thing, you could say, hey, use my engineering instead.
Okay.
I don't think that's useful for you.
No.
It could be.
Yep.
Constantly watching. When you attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1. I think that fits you. I think that's a security thing.
Okay. So what one was that one?
That was constantly watching.
Oops.
Dauntless. I think this could fit you. Whenever you attempt a task to resist being intimidated or threatened, you may add a bonus d20 to your dice pool.
Awesome. Okay.
And I think that fits your persona.
Yeah. So that adds a d20 to rolls for
intimidation and when you're being intimidated or threatened.
Okay.
Perfect. Is
Dauntless. Yeah, and that's a permanent d20, so I guess roll 1 extra without any spending.
Yeah, so every time there's an intimidation or a threat roll against you, you get 3d20.
Perfect. And constantly watching is a dice for... What'd that one do?
That would be to detect danger or hidden enemies.
Okay. And again,
the way I see that is typically you'd be in some kind of an away team.
Yeah.
And that's something your security team would be doing.
Okay, cool.
More than you. I use constantly watching for the security officer that I built. So she's definitely on board this ship. And she's either your chief of security or somebody that will be on a lot of these away missions.
Okay.
She's
now,
like she's your friendly red shirt.
There is also moments, though, I imagine, like D&D, where the person who is the most perceptive of the group will roll that 1 and miss everything, right?
Oh, well, in this case, it's 20.
Yeah, yeah.
Ones are good, 20s are bad in this system.
Oh, okay. It's the other way around. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're always trying to roll under.
I see.
That's why you wanted to build up your numbers. So if I say make a engineering insight roll,
yep,
you add your engineering and your insight, and then you're trying to roll that or under.
Oh, okay. Cool.
To succeed.
Gotcha. So if I'm trying to suture a wound with my medicine of 1, basically I need to roll perfect plus whatever you for attribute you tack on to that as well too.
Well, yeah, it would. So the nice thing for you is, I mean, take your worst attribute and your worst discipline.
Yeah. So reason and science, it's a 7 and a 1. So that would be I have to roll 8 or
under.
1 to 8. I have to roll 1 to 8.
Right. But the thing that can happen is I can make it a difficulty 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Yep. Depending on the situation that I find my character in.
Right. A lot of things are difficulty 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. I'd say a lot of things are difficulty 1 to 3. 1 being typically easy, 2 being kind of a normal thing. 1 and 2 are normal.
Okay.
Normal situations. 3 is something very challenging. 4 is like, there's a lot of stuff going wrong. The environment's against you. Maybe there's an enemy ship around. 5 is like stress and a lot of things going wrong.
Yeah. So 1 would be, do you notice the clanking sound of Borg approaching to the doorway? Do you hear that? Or
yeah.
Or a 5 or a 4 would be, oh no, the warp core is breaching and you're trying to patch it while plasma conduit's rupturing while a Klingon ship is torpedoing you.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm going to still try anyway. And yeah, it's going to be practically impossible to cobble something together.
Yes.
Could be done. The rolls could be favorable, and I could patch the plasma conduit and fix the warp core while a Klingon ship is shooting torpedoes at us.
It's possible.
It could happen.
It absolutely could.
Yeah.
And there is an assist mechanic, so like you and the chief engineer could be working on that together, and you might pull it off.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. Do you think Vax might have technical expertise? Would you like to hear more about technical expertise?
That sounds good to me.
Whenever you attempt a task assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, you can reroll 1d20.
Sounds useful. The question
so.
is, will I be using sensors at all? Well, I guess my control is
probably
a 10.
Not.
And
actually, you might be using sensors for the ship will be using their sensors for transporters.
Oh, okay then. So in that case, what was that again?
That is technical expertise.
Perfect.
So it's not your computers or your sensors, it's the ship.
Gotcha. And it's how well I can use it.
Yes. And so what happens is if you're doing something that the ship assists you with, the ship gets a die to assist.
Okay.
And so they'll do something like engineering sensors. And so in our situation, they have 10 sensors and 3 engineering. So if the ship rolls a 13 or less, then they add a success to your roll.
Okay.
So when you transport, you're going to get a boost.
Perfect.
More than likely. All right, so you need one more talent?
I have currently 4 talents, and I have greeted as eternal as a race one.
Okay. What? Because we've done 2, right? We did Dauntless and Technical Expertise.
Constantly watching and bold I've got written down as well too.
Oh, I don't think you need constantly watching.
Okay, I'll kick that one then.
Because that's the detect danger.
Yeah. Okay.
Hidden
cool.
enemies. I wouldn't go there.
Perfect.
Because you probably want a specific engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are your options, and like I would say this: don't write any of them down. Let's just go through them.
Okay.
And then you tell me what you like, and I can reread anything you want.
Okay.
A little more power. Whenever you succeed in an engineering task aboard your own ship, you may spend 1 momentum to regain 1 spent power.
Okay.
I know my ship. Whenever you attempt a task to determine the source of a technical problem with your ship, add 1 bonus d20.
Okay.
Diagnostics. In the nick of time, whenever you succeeded in engineering or science task as part of an extended task, you score 1 additional work for every effect rolled. Effects happen on 2 out of 6 faces on d6s. And so additional work helps you complete these long tasks faster.
Okay.
So if you want to be somebody who's focusing on long tasks, that would be a talent to go for. Intense scrutiny. Whenever you succeed at a task using reason or control, as part of an extended task, you may ignore up to 2 of the resistance for every effect rolled. And then there is jury rig. Whenever you attempt an engineering task to perform repairs, you may reduce the difficulty by 2 to a minimum of 0. If you do this, however, the repairs are only temporary and will last only a single scene, plus 1 scene per momentum spent.
Okay, so what is a scene?
Think of a scene as an episode of Star Trek.
Okay.
And not the episode, but just we're like, it's a fight.
Yeah.
So combat could be a scene. Engaging discussions and then carrying out a plan, and then you break to commercial, and then the crew's beamed down to the planet.
Yeah.
That's been a scene.
So I'm liking that last one to fit my character roleplay wise more.
Yeah, jury rig is tough.
Yeah.
Tough to fit because it just eats momentum.
Yeah. So how much momentum was it to spend? Was it it was a couple, wasn't it?
It's 1 per scene.
Okay.
So it lasts 1 scene, as in the scene. That's the scene you're in.
Okay.
And then it's 1 additional per momentum you spend.
And I know
So
I know my ship was pretty good too.
Yeah, that's the if you're trying to figure out what's wrong, you get a bonus d20.
I'm liking it. There's a number of things that can go wrong, and a bonus d20 would be handy.
Yeah. Those are all engineering tasks or engineering talents. If you wanted trying to see if there's anything else that might be interesting. Yeah, you could also go back and have cautious or collaboration. Right, you don't have to have the extra die. I like the extra die.
Me too.
Dice are precious, and getting more dice are good.
Which also would gain more momentum, would it not? Because if I succeed,
if you over succeed, yeah.
So I like it.
More dice are a chance to get more successes, which is a chance to generate more momentum, to buy more dice, to generate more momentum, to help people that need to buy dice to succeed at hard tasks succeed.
Yeah. Cool.
Having dice just happen, that's easier. It's better to have dice to help you figure out the problem than need to spend momentum.
Yes,
give me threat to give you the dice to find out the problems, and then have to do more of that to fix the problems.
Yeah. And what did technical expertise do? I jotted down re-roll a d20, but what was it specifically for?
Technical expertise. Oh, that's one of your.
That was with the sensors, right?
Oh yeah. When you're assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, you can re-roll a d20.
Which is pretty much, by the way, anytime you're doing a task on board the ship.
Yeah, perfect.
And that's either your dice or the ship's die.
Awesome.
So that's huge. That's probably the best thing you can do, and it does fit your character. Because I know you're trying to create a character that story-wise first and isn't power gaming, and that's where I'm going with you. And Vax saying I know my ship certainly would fit as well.
Yes.
Because he does have that target lock capability. He is a master of knowing all ships.
Yeah, and if not, he's able to dabble in schematics and figure it out, because it's basically every car is built,
things out.
Every car is built the same. It's just a matter of what is where.
Mm-hmm. So he figures things out quickly.
Yeah.
And I know you have the jury rigging notion behind your character.
Yep.
I like that. I don't like this jury rig talent.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad talent.
Yeah. But hey, it could just be a side thing that he's able just or even just a narrative, how it's just,
I'll definitely let Vax narratively jury rig some stuff.
Yeah, within the boundaries provided, right? Like it's.
Yeah, but if you can duct tape some stuff together, then go for it.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So those are your talents. You have 4 talents now, right?
You bet.
And there is this really cool system called milestones, which lets you swap some of your attributes or disciplines, or if you get really good stuff, increases.
Cool.
Yeah, increases your abilities. So it's you can even swap focuses and stuff like that. So it's a great system. That's something we will get into after the first story. So make sure you come up with your 4 values. I know you've got some of them written down, but
yeah.
So you've got a little bit of homework.
Yeah, hey, that's cool though.
But I think we're good there. And we'll figure stuff out. I think we're good. I think we're done. Tucker, you're good?
Yeah. Do you want me to run through it, or?
Oh yeah. Run through your character.
All right. So the Pardon me. I need to downshift that. That's wrong. Hang on. So this is a character. So going through the life paths in order. Race. There is an option in the book to make a what do they call it? Like a blended races character.
Yeah, hybrid.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they say. So I have chosen to do that with the Borg racial traits and the Vulcan racial traits in order to make a liberated Vulcan Borg drone. It says when you do that, you get the traits of both races. You get access to the talents of both races, which is irrelevant for Borg because they don't have any. And you choose one race to use their stats. I chose the Borg. So the Borg, like humans, just tell you to pick 3 stats. So I chose control, daring, and reason. For talent, I picked mind meld because it's just sort of useful in a plot sense to have that around. Just, you know, it allows you to do things, and it's fun, and it's a way around some of the it's a way around some of the well, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, bear with me. Environment. I picked homeworld Vulcan. This was a little bit of a fudge because the homeworld option is a bit odd if you have blended races, but I picked reason as the stat bonus from it. You can pick one stat of the base race, and I picked one that I both used for Borg and is a Vulcan stat. For discipline, I picked science because for the upbringing, I picked science and technology. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, I see what this happened. I see what happened here. I forgot the value, right, comes from, or does the value come from race or environment?
The value, hold on.
Environment.
Environment. Okay, so that is in the right place. So for whoa, hang on. What happened here? Oh, this is all wrong. Hang on 1 second. I gotta fix something.
Okay, so while Tucker does that, just
no. I got it. It's
okay.
It's a quick fix. So anyway, so for the environment, the value I picked, I decided to do a theme with the values because that helps me come up with them. So I tried to blend. Well, you'll see what I did. The first value I picked is emotion is irrelevant, which I thought was cute for the whole Borg Vulcan thing.
Huh.
Anyway, so for upbringing, I picked science and technology. I decided that Ta'ani grew up near the famed Vulcan Science Directorate. And her parents were propulsion engineers, or propulsion researchers, I guess would be a better term for it. And she was very interested in that as well. So she gets from that, she accepted her science and technology upbringing, which means she gets +2 control, +1 reason. And she gets +1 con, which because propulsion systems, and she takes a focus in propulsion systems. She gets to Starfleet and decides she wants to be a con officer. So she goes with +2 daring, +1 reason, and con is her major, so +2 there. +1 science and +1 medical to reflect the Vulcan focus on sciences. This is the command track. Sorry, I should have clarified. For focuses, she picked up helm operations, and then this is the one I want. Well, she picked up 3, one of which I want a little input on, David, so we can pause there.
Sure.
She picked up helm operations and Vulcan martial arts, which is why her talent is nerve pinch.
Okay.
And the value, logic demands that I must comply. So the third focus I wanted to get your feedback on was I couldn't think of a word, and that makes me question whether it's a good focus. Because what I have down is scanning. Because I didn't want to do sensor operations because it feels like too broad, and I also want to capture tricorder usage.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Analysis? So, like, would that be a good word?
Oh, sensor analysis. How does that work?
Yeah, data analysis.
No, but that implies that she's good at like reading spreadsheets, and that's not really what I'm looking for. Like, scan analysis could be.
That would at least feel like another. Yeah, that would give it a little more detail, which gives it more of what you're going for. I don't know that it gives you everything.
Well, what about something like scanning operations? Because there's helm operations, right? So could you do like scanning operations?
Yeah. Sensor operation? No, because you're avoiding sensors. Yeah.
Well, sensor. I mean, look. Could I use sensor operations with a tricorder?
Yeah.
Great. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
All right. So so we've got helm ops, sensor ops, and I'm gonna have to change that slightly so I can read it on my sheet. Okay. And then logic demands that I must comply. For career, I picked experienced officer and field medicine. And that needs to drop down to here. Those need to move up. Okay, so for the two events, I picked mentor, which of course gives me a stat of my choice, which will be daring, and con 1. And the idea here was to where's that? Hang on, I need to look at the chart because I think the career is where you get the third value, right? Yeah. So so for career length, I did the talent, which was field medicine, and then for the value, I did biological and technological distinctiveness in infinite combinations.
I smile at that one. That's great.
Yeah, I just changed that one tonight. I think it's way better than what it was. I think I had your culture will adapt in infinite combinations, but I like that one a lot better. Because it makes more sense, right? That's what I think. Yeah. Anyway, so the first, as I said, is mentor. She had a commanding officer that was very much sort of a for lack of a better term, like a Kirk type, you know, good at talking, man of action, which taught her some skills of persuasion, right?
Okay.
So that's the tack she took with that. Oh wow, I got the name of something wrong. So I'm gonna have to pick a new ship for him to have been the commanding officer of. So give me a second.
Okay.
What's a ship class I like? That's neat.
The Miranda.
No, all these classes are horrible.
Excelsior?
No, I don't want to do. Well, hang on.
Go with the Bradley.
You know what? No, you know what?
Jellicoe.
No, we see the captain of that one. That doesn't work. Let me see. Oh, we'll do. Okay, so this makes sense, right? Because it's a science ship, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately the ship that she was assigned to was a science ship, And the commanding officer was super bold and super aggressive, which didn't work well because the ship she served on was the USS Bellerophon NCC 62048, which was a Nebula class at the Battle of Wolf 359.
Huh.
So that didn't go too well for her.
Wasn't the Bellerophon an Intrepid?
NCC 74705.
Yeah.
Oh, they kept reusing the name. Weird.
No, that's a Starfleet tradition, though, right? Yeah. I mean, though, I do believe that the Bellerophon should have been the Bellerophon A, but I'm not gonna bust them over.
It wasn't special enough to get the A treatment.
Possibly. Yeah. Anyway, so obviously she was a Borg drone, and then during the Battle of Sector 001, she was discovered on one of the pieces of wreckage of the Borg cube and alive, and was surgically treated to remove her Borg prostheses along the lines of Picard or 7 of 9, and made a recovery, which is why the second event is serious injury. Which also gave her a little bit of insight into combat medicine. So she gained from that +1 fitness from the rehab, +1 medical from the disciplines, the trait Borg prostheses, and I'm thinking more of like the eyepiece than anything, right? Like I don't think the arm is appropriate. I don't think the body armor or any of that is appropriate, but the eye thing, right? Sure. And maybe the little tubule thingies. And then the combat medicine, just because, you know, that's where she first wound up when she was being treated, because it was after battle. So I then have a couple more cleaning up things to do in the final steps stage. So what happened with all of this? At some point, this spreadsheet got seriously messed up. Oh, I know what I did. I'm an idiot. So I put 1 more point into control, 1 more point into daring, 1 more point into each of science and medical, because my con was already at 5. And I took the talent doctor's orders. Or does that, I guess that goes, that should go in the career. I don't know why that's down here. Because at this point she's got a lot of medical experience, but she's very assertive and, you know, Vulcan-y.
Okay.
And of course, with all of the effort spent to rescue her and her reaffirmation of her Starfleet training tinged with her Borg outlook, she has learned that the needs of the collective outweigh the needs of the few.
Or the drone.
Or the drone. So her final stat allocation is control 11, daring 12, fitness 8, insight 7, presence 7, reason 11. And her final discipline lineup is command 1, con 5, engineering 1, security 1, science 4, and medical 4.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Aiming for that flight controller position. 17 on con plus daring checks.
Oh, you'll get them. Oh, fun fact, and maybe you won't ooh at this. The Luna can saucer separate.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's standard on every starship after 2377, I think.
Well, I sure as heck wouldn't know that from Star Trek Online.
Or Voyager.
Well, Voyager.
It was before 20. Okay.
Before, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They said, yeah, we've seen enough incidents of this. We kind of need to be able to escape a warp core breach. And not in escape pods.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So she's got some fun things, right? Because doctor's orders means that she can use nerve pinch means she can use medicine instead of security for melee attacks.
Right.
And then doctor's orders means she can use medicine instead of persuasion, or she can use medicine instead of command for a lot of persuasion related things.
Okay.
And then the flight controller thing lets her use con instead of engineering for propulsion systems. So she's actually got a fair bit of diversity, despite the fact that her stats are as min-maxed as the system will let you make them.
Yeah. What's your medicine?
4.
4? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
And also, I mean, the reason I did the con medicine split is you can do a lot of this stuff with science. I mean, doctor's orders needs medicine, but you can do a lot of this with science. But the reason I did the con medicine split is that gives her something to do on the ship and on ground. Right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, which is important.
Right. She's not, you know, Tom Paris levels of useless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
But without just being like Sulu again.
Right, because that's the last thing you want is to remake somebody just with a different name.
Right. It's like, yes, I get it. It's reasonable to have do con and security for exactly that sort of reason, because almost every other station has something to do in both places. But you know what? Medical doesn't. And medical is the one in the book where they're like, yeah, you can be in the infirmary treating wounded, and it gives other people modifiers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. Let me fly the ship. So she is coldly efficient. So Will laughed when he heard it, so I think he got it. But did everybody else get the reference with Ta'ani, the name?
I'm drawing a blank.
It is a blending of the names T'Pol and Annika Hansen.
Okay.
Because this is, I mean, she's sort of like an intersection of 7 of 9. That's a helmswoman, which I think that's a helmswoman and a doctor, which is like the 2 roles that neither of those characters played. Anyway.
Which makes for an interesting twist. I like it.
Yeah, it's sort of like remixed Trek, right? Like it's like all of these things are things we've seen before, but like I've always thought the idea of a liberated Borg Vulcan is super interesting, right? Like, you know, and strictly speaking, right? Like it would just be better. This character would flat out be better if she were honestly just a human Vulcan hybrid, because then she could have human talents without losing anything. But like, the idea of a liberated Borg Vulcan is so cool to me, right? Because it's like, if you think about it, I could even imagine like a bunch of Vulcans talking themselves into the idea that being assimilated is logical, right? And then you have the mind meld aspect, right? Like, think about how a mind meld is going to work with a former Borg drone. Like, I'm so excited by this.
Oh. I mean, you've got me kind of groaning, but also my storyteller brain going, yeah, okay. Yep. Going there. Going places.
Yeah, but like, otherwise she's basically Spock that can fly a ship, right? If she's the human hybrid one, which is just annoying.
Right, and what's interesting about that?
Well, I mean, it's not like Spock's a bad character, right? Like, it's like, and flying the ship is like, I guess it's something a Vulcan has never done on the show. Somebody's, like, there's going to be one. There's going to be a Vulcan helmsman somewhere, and somebody's going to be, like, commenting on the Facebook thing. No, I forgot about this one guy.
Well, necessarily on that all-Vulcan Nebula class on Deep Space Nine, the one they played baseball with.
And the all-Vulcan Constitution class, and the Vulcan ships from Enterprise. Yeah, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, it's not
on a lead ship, yeah.
On a lead ship, or even really on a major supporting ship, right? Like, nobody's ever identified as the helmsman of the Saleya or whatever it is.
True. Yeah, we get the engineer, but not the helms. So
I'm such an idiot.
Wasn't she? No. Yeah, you're right. She wasn't in Chekhov's seat. She was in Sulu's.
Well, it's because Sulu was over on the Excelsior. Like,
Wait.
Chekhov was still weapons officer.
Wasn't Valeris Romulan?
No. So Valeris, this is an interesting story. Valeris was originally supposed to be Savik, who is half Romulan. But they decided, number one, that the fans would hate like making such a popular character evil, and number two, they weren't going to recast her a third time. Like, that would just be ridiculous. So they just made a new character.
Okay.
But like the whole thing is a lot more interesting if you just assume that if you do what I do, which is either assume that Valeris just mentally replace her with Kirstie Alley Savik, or just replace Savik with Valeris the whole time, which is my preferred strategy. As much as I like Kirstie Alley Savik, I love Valeris. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Yeah, they're both good characters.
Yeah.
Oh, John, while Tucker was talking, I had a thought about what ship you were on.
Mhm.
I think you should be on the Akira class that we see at the start of First Contact. I'm pretty sure
Thunderchild.
the Thunderchild.
That's actually the ship I had planned to have Ta'ani be on, except I forgot that was at 001, not Wolf 359.
So I like the notion of you going from an Akira to a Luna. It'll bug Tucker all campaign long.
Well, one of the things I thought about this character is that he's been on a lot of ships or bases. He just gets a lot of assignments. He has a knack for not sticking around too long for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just
played that up.
Bad luck. Yeah, sometimes it's really bad luck because this guy has been in a lot of fights. So
okay, so play to that. That's a good thing to know about your character.
Right.
There's definite aspects that make that interesting.
Right. Yeah, I can go through them if you want, and if you don't, or.
I think some of those are best left found through the story.
Well, I can go through the, like sort of Tucker did the character, but there's some stuff on here that I'm not. Yeah, I'll hold off on because one of them is one of his secrets, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, go through what you want to share.
Sure. Well, okay. So, all right. So just go through the list, like the life path list here. Yeah. So we got Hiram Matthew Zip Zimmerman. So he's got his little nickname as an engineer has.
Any relationship to the Walter?
I'm sorry, not Zimmerman. Zipman. I originally thought Zimmerman. I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to do that.
I was going because Zimmerman created the EMH.
Right.
That actually would be a fun relationship to have.
Yeah. So. I did notice in the book that you can work on long-term projects, and one project.
Okay, listen, that guy Zimmerman.
Let me tell you something.
Do you want that relationship? Because that could be fun.
Also, let me think about that. Well,
every time you walk into sick bay, you just immediately want to leave. And that's why you cannot work on the EMH. You're just like, I'm done. I've had it with this guy. We're done here.
Oh, don't worry. The feeling is absolutely mutual.
Think about it. You got some time.
Yeah. I did think about one briefly. So, and it's funny we mentioned that because I know the book had long-term projects, and one of the long-term projects I was thinking that he could tackle is an EEH, an emergency engineering hologram.
Okay. So online.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's an emergency medical hologram. There's an emergency engineering hologram. There's an emergency security.
Oh yeah, there it is. I forgot all about that.
And there's a emergency con hologram.
I completely forgot about those. It's been a while since I've played. So,
but is there an emergency command hologram?
No, there is not. But the doctor shows up and tells the story of like what was going on with it. So
that has pips pop up and a red shirt.
That's the best part, right? That's the best part of the transformation sequence. Is that and Janeway's reaction to it?
Yeah.
Well, nice touch.
Gilbert Gottfried might have an emergency command hologram version.
Oh, and he gets to try to negotiate with the enemy on the other.
Listen, David, one of the perks of this format is that you're going to have a lot of technical resources on your side, right? You'll be able to, pull out sound effects and stuff. If we have the emergency command hologram and you don't have that heroic music that comes up when the transformation sequence starts, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Oh, I'll have music.
Nice. The Ferengi accidentally deleted the music. Oh, what a shame.
I'm going to try to play the music.
It's great. It is great, and nobody will tell me otherwise. Sorry, I'm just getting a little food. I'm hungry.
Okay, well, we got his name down. That's so Zip's a 46-year-old human, senior chief petty officer. He's been in the service forever. He was born on Vulcan. So, actually, I jumped ahead here. So, being a human, and being born and raised for several years on Vulcan, I took a couple of the Vulcan attributes. So we've got control and reason, but also put presence in there because that fits the character. And his talent, and his talent's resolute. So he gets those bonus. He gets that bonus stress, which a good chief engineer should have anyway.
Yeah.
So So his parents were, well, jumping ahead again. So he was born and raised on Vulcan. He spent about, I'm thinking about his first 9 or 10 years there. Which, move my stuff out of the way so I can read here. Because this Vulcan's got the higher gravity and everything, he's actually a little stronger, a little more of a durable than an Earth-born human. That's the environment he grew up in for several years.
Something in the water.
Yeah, that's it. All right, I just making sure I'm not mixing things up here. So the value I got here, sort of because of his upbringing, was rural. The value was if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So basically,
you're gonna hate the Ferengi.
Yeah. It's basically he really likes old technology. A little later on in years, they lived on Earth for a couple of years. He got to see the Fleet Museum. He got to see a Constitution class. And he fell in love with 23rd century technology. So that's like his passion.
He was immediately assigned to the most advanced science vessel in the fleet.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because that's how well Starfleet lists. I love relic ships. Here's an advanced one.
It's true. I didn't think about that. For his attribute, I chose reason, and his discipline, obviously, engineering. Now, on Vulcan, his parents were agricultural engineers, so no matter where they lived, they were always in the rural area, developing new systems or helping build systems. But he kind of rebelled against that because he's an engineer at heart. He just likes to tinker and things like that. So I gave him attributes increased of presence, and he got 2 reason out of that. Because he lives rural, you have to make do with what you have, and things can happen. He actually got good at emergency medicine. So I gave him a medicine discipline, and the focus was emergency medicine because you got to be able to, set bones, heal injuries, everything on the fly. There might not be a doctor for, even though it's the 24th century, there might still not be, actually it's Vulcan, so there might not be a healer for hundreds of kilometers.
So wait, so you're a human who was raised on Vulcan, on a desert planet.
That's why you need agricultural engineers.
On a farm.
It's a harsh lie.
Was it a moisture farm?
God.
Do you need to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converter?
Uncle Owen, this R2 unit has a bad motor on it.
Walk into that one. Didn't even occur to me.
No, Tucker, you've just ruined my first storyline. No.
Got hijacked by a bunch of Jawas.
No, not that. No, you guys will find out.
David, I just literally, for the first time in my life, actually did a spit take. So good job. Now,
you guys will find out. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Just it'll make that line all the more funny with what's gonna happen.
So, for his talent, for his rural talent,
I find out the captain's my father. I'm going to be very upset.
The captain is not your daddy.
Oh, that's not how Maury says it.
Your talent.
Yeah, it's fine. I actually want to clear this one with David, see if it's okay. So his talent is personal effects. So he always carries a knife on him, just out of habit from being a young kid. So he's always got a knife stuck in his boot, sort of like a switch knife. He can either use as a weapon or he can use it just to pry stuff open, like a stuck panel or something, you know.
It's kind of like a little switchblade type thing.
Yeah, it's nothing big. Just tucks in his boot, pops out when he needs it. But then,
could you kill somebody with it if you wanted to?
If he worked at it, if he hit him in the right place, yeah.
Okay.
He does
You
have
can kill somebody with anything if you want to.
Yeah. He does have a security focus, but it's one of those where it's just more of his habit that he always has a knife in a boot.
I'm okay with that. Your primary reasoning for it is engineering based, not murdery based.
Right. So the other one might not go with you then, is that in his other boot, he always keeps a Type 1 phaser. I don't know.
Well, no, you always have a phaser on you.
Okay, so that's fine. Then I won't worry about that. Then I'll look for another. I've got one more opportunity cost of equipment to spend in, so I'll look for something else to.
Yeah. So all characters have a phaser or have
standard equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Combat you can basically get all the time if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Type 1 senior officers could even have a Type 2 phaser.
Yeah.
If you wanted. So,
that's fine. Cool. Okay. So
I understand why you'd want one in your boot.
Sure.
It's so that if there's invaders and you were taken captive. Yeah.
Sure.
I understand your rationale.
Yeah. So one thing I did forget. Wait, let me cough here for a second. Okay. So since he grew up on Vulcan and moved around a lot, and I was even thinking sometime on Beta Z, he sort of learned, as well as a human can, how to lock his mind down from telepathy. I mean, if someone wants to get in, they could probably get in. He is only a human, but he has, some practice just from the environment he's lived in and I've upped his control accordingly when I've gotten the chance to do that. Or I think it's control to do that, or is it insight? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Academy. He didn't go to the academy. Like I said, he's an enlisted man. He actually works for a living. He just enlisted into Starfleet, and during his career, he was kind of split between engineering and security. He actually really liked security. He went in with engineering. He is an engineer at heart, which is his value from this. But he has some security training. So his attributes I upped were reason, control, and daring. His disciplines were 2 engineering's security and a science, and then his focuses were computers, the structural engineering, and then I had linguistics down, but since we get a hobby focus, I'm swapping that out for hand phasers. Since he did study security, I'll make linguistics his hobby focus. He just likes, because he's traveled around so much, he's actually picked up a couple of languages. He's not fluent, but he's like more than conversational in Vulcan, and he can do a little. He has some conversational Klingon, just like the big races, some things you pick up.
Okay, so with that, I won't ever let you use it to like figure out a new language.
Sure, no.
Like if the UT was down and you were trying to converse with like Vulcans or Klingons, or like Andorians or Tellarites, you'd be able to at least convey basic phrases.
Yeah, so with the Vulcan, he wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, Vulcans, you'd be able to have a decent conversation.
Yeah, like he could make.
Sorry, I just had a total moment where with a scene I can play that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like,
have you ever watched I Love Lucy when they're in Europe?
Yes. Oh, you talking about the four-way translation?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So yes, that will happen.
Awesome.
And you will totally end up saying like, "How dare you hit my wife?" And it will turn, or like, "I want my shoes back," and it'll turn into, "How dare you hit my wife?"
So I was just taking a second to look at a fun thing my friend is doing, and I just came back on that note. So anybody want to give me something resembling content?
John has John's hobby is going to be in like primary race linguistics. So if the UT ever goes out, he'll be able to have like basic conversation, basic phrases with some of the main races like Klingons, Andorians. He's pretty conversational in Vulcan. And so I was saying that if you've ever watched I Love Lucy when they're in Europe, there's this like 4 or 5 person translation scene where things are getting a little messed up, but still kind of working. And I said we're going to play to that.
Yeah. That will be fun and annoying.
Well, you'll have to be rolling for it every time to see if the translation keeps
awesome. Working. Great. That's nothing bad will happen.
Nothing bad at all will happen there.
Yeah, great. Lastly, for Academy, his talents. Oh, he's a veteran officer. So he, I did, or is that the next one? No, that is this one. Yeah, he's a veteran officer. He's been around for decades. So he gets the
veteran talent.
He gets that veteran talent. But for whoops. Oh, yeah, he gets the veteran talent. Did I write that down? Oh, I wrote that down here. Oh, for under that's career. Under Academy, he takes the talent of supervisor.
Okay.
Which makes sense. He's he's the chief engineer, senior veteran. Yeah. So career is veteran, and then career events. The 2 I picked up was ship destroyed. He lost his ship at Wolf 359. At Sector 001.
So maybe you weren't on the Thunderchild.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't think about that if Thunderchild wasn't lost.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure out a different ship.
Yeah, that's fine. So I upped his daring and his security and his survival accordingly. And then his other event was, and actually not with the Borg, it was conflict with hostile culture because he fought in the Cardassian War.
Oh, like the old Cardassian.
The old Cardassian War.
The O'Brien Cardassian.
Right.
War.
Well, this guy, he's been around for a while, but this guy's, I mean, he fought Sector 001, he fought the Cardassian War, he fought the Klingons, the Dominion. He just, yeah. So
you're friggin' Balthazar from wow.
So so for the conflict, I upped his fitness and security, and he gets hand-to-hand combat.
Well, to be fair, just about everybody fought the Dominion War.
That's true. Yeah, that was pretty.
No, right, but right, like it's and that's the thing is that I actually, this was an argument I had with Joseph back in the day is Joseph has never seen Enterprise and he refuses to watch it, which I consider to be annoying but fair. And he said he didn't understand Balthazar's motivations at all. And I'm like, dude, I saw those friggin' wars. I got that. Are you kidding? It's like that with this guy, right? It's not just that like everybody fought in the Dominion War, okay, but like not everybody was there and at 001 and against the Klingons and against the Cardassians.
He always he always finds himself fighting something.
Okay, you know what?
He's not trying to. It's just You know
what I think would be a fun thing to do? I actually kind of want to run through some like characters from Star Trek and see like how they would turn out in this system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like running like Balthazar through like trying to just make. I mean, I guess we don't know anything about his backstory besides the wars he was in, right? But like, still, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep like going off on weird tangents.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't even remember that character. I was just thinking this guy. He's basically been through it, seen it all, done it all. Type of feels like he's been around forever to him, at least. He's just seen all the bad things and some good things. So sum things up because that's the touch up. So his attributes were control 10, fitness 8, presence 9, daring 9, insight 8, reason 12 max. And his disciplines are command 2, security 4, science 2, con 1. He's just a fair pilot. Engineering 5 and medicine 2. His values are if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Engineer at heart. Nothing better than practical experience. So he actually does like the Ferengi for that. He's pretty much all of that out that.
Yeah.
And then when given 2 options, always take the third.
Nice.
Yeah. His talents are the personal effects, which I'll have to fill in more. Supervisor, veteran, the resolute, and his flavor talent is a Tonga player. He only gambles in card games. That's the only type of gambling he likes.
Oh, flavor focus.
Yeah,
talent.
flavor focus. Yeah.
I think we're taking linguistics for that, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, talent. I meant to say talent. Did I say focus? These are his talents.
You don't get a flavor talent.
Well, then I'll take that off. I was thinking I just must have heard something wrong earlier on. His focuses are.
I think what he was talking about was the hobbies, right?
Oh
David?
Hobbies. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, I think I did, David. I think you called that a flavor talent at one point.
Oh. Yeah.
No, I'll just call it a hobby.
Probably by mistake. I mean, linguistics makes sense, but it's also kind of innate to your character. So if you want to just have Tonga as a focus instead of linguistics, that might make more sense.
Yeah, it would. So I'll make that change. That's why everything's in pencil. So his focuses then are emergency medicine, computer, structural engineering, survival, hand-to-hand combat, hand phasers, and then Tonga, or card gambling, if you want to be more generic.
Sure.
No,
you're a card player. You've picked up a bunch of card games.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. Sometimes there's nothing else to do.
Right.
So,
which in your profession is a relief.
Yeah. This poor guy. Yeah.
It's almost like one of your values could be, I don't go looking for trouble. Trouble just finds me.
You know, it's almost like that. It's pretty much like that. Because I've got 5 big conflicts here. Well, if you don't count 001, then 4 big conflicts. So
001's a big conflict. Well, that's absolute.
Well, I'm talking like war type conflicts.
I mean, I think that's the thing about the war with the with Borg, right? Is the Borg, like anytime you're fighting a Borg cube, that's a war, right?
Yeah.
Or you could argue that the Borg have just been in one long, protracted war against the Federation since their first formal contact.
That's pretty much what Picard says. Their way of life is completely incompatible. They're always going to be.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no further.
I do have them.
By the way, I will say this. One of the things that not everybody gets, okay, go back and watch it with this in mind, is that Quark's speech in the last episode of Deep Space Nine is supposed to be a parody of that.
I just watched an episode, and he did say something that was a parody of something else from Star Trek, but I can't remember what it was. But it was late season 5. What was it? I'll think of it some other time. But I was just going to mention, I did have marked down, he fought the Zinkethi War, but on Sisko's ship. So that gives us a tie to the series. Because it was the ship that he was the XO, and Leighton, who tried to overthrow Starfleet, he was the captain of that one.
Oh, yeah.
So,
don't worry. Those guys are going to be back.
Oh, great.
They are going into the Beta Quadrant. So.
All right.
The Typhon Pact, it's a-coming.
All right.
Look forward to Gorn, Romulans, Tholians, Breen.
Wait, what? What is this?
The Typhon Pact.
What?
It's a coalition of Romulans, Breen, Tholians, Gorn, and Kzinti.
What? Where is this?
It's book canon. And it's actually a really good thing for you guys to be up against at some point.
I
feel like I should read the Titan books now just to...
Can't we just fight the Iconians? Can't we just use Stowe Cannon? Stowe Cannon is way better.
That's debatable.
I honestly don't think it is. I think Stowe Cannon is way better. Even has your damn Luna class.
So does Titan. Hey, the whole point here is to tell stories, right? We'll be fine. I'll steal from both cannons. We'll make up a whole new cannon. It'll be Hadfield cannon. Or shipyard cannon. I like the sound of that better.
And we'll use phase cannons. And
all right. Well, yeah, it's 1:30 for Chris. Yep. It's 10:30 for the rest of us, and some of us have a Star Trek tournament tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot about. I mean, I'm ready, but I forgot about that. Okay.
I mean, I've built. I haven't pulled anything for it, but I've built.
Yeah. I'm hoping my card packs are waiting for me, or I'm gonna have to. Robert's gonna have to let me proxy some cards for free.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Romulan drone pack I'll bring, so you can use anything from that.
No, that wasn't using anything from that.
I don't think that'll help you unless you're using the generic ship.
No, I need a Grissom pack.
Oh.
Actually, I need a Grissom and Dreadnought pack.
I think everybody wants a Dreadnought pack.
Yeah. Well, I pre-ordered it, but I don't know if it's going to be there in time. So.
Yeah. They're supposedly in, but I don't know if all of them are in.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. Well, thank you all for being around for building. I appreciate it. This is going to be fun. How are your guys' schedules for next week? Do we want to get rolling then, or do we want to go 2 weeks?
So if we're planning on doing this every other week, right?
Yes.
If we get rolling next week, I wouldn't be able to make the session after that.
Okay.
So 2 weeks is best for me.
Okay. I think that's what we were planning anyways. So
15. Oh, I'm in the same situation. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to I can't make the 13th. So yeah.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, the 13th of October. If we start next week and then do 2 weeks, we'll run into that. So
I got you.
Okay. So then we will be back on the 22nd for the start for episode 1. of the Adventures of the USS Hadfield, and we'll have some actual good campaign name by then, because the Adventures of the USS Hadfield is just a little too long.
The Adventures at the Hadfield's Amazing Emergency Medical Hologram.
Adventures Hadfield, yeah. So that's the AMHA.
Just call it Star Trek EMH. That's the name, you know. That's the show.
So just for people watching, I'm like delirious from lack of sleep. It's been a really hard week at work. I hope this is as funny when I watch this and am embarrassed by it.
What if
I think we'll be okay.
What if that EMH is beaming himself from ship to ship, and we're just following the adventures of him as the main character?
No.
That could be fun.
No, is straight up no.
You know what? I'm bored with the Luna class. Let's try an Excelsior. Something robust, something trustworthy. This ship is boring. It's full of straight-laced nerds who should have been retired in the 23rd century.
24th.
No, that's my point.
Oh. Oh, the Excelsior in the 23rd.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
After he just yells at calling out them all nerds, just one guy on the bridge just just puts down a tablet and just goes, "Hey."
Aww.
Can't really comment much beyond that because he does have a point, but come on.
He puts down his tablet with D&D on it, and he's like, "Hey."
What are you studying? Oh, the vapor trails coming off the vapor trails from the vapor trails in a comet. Yeah. New ship!
All right. If anyone got to the end of this, I'm sorry.
They deserve the best high five.
Yeah, if you see me at Origins next year, high five to you. Like, seriously, just come up to me and say, I watched all of the character creation. You owe me.
Owe me that high five that you promised at the end. Proof that you watched it to the very end.
Right. That's how I'll know. So, if you do that, you can get a high five from me.
Would that become a stock card by any chance? Admiral Montgomery high five?
Sure.
Perfect. It doesn't do much beyond that. It's just you get the gratitude of knowing that you got high five.
Right. It's a 0 point, no slot requirement, just gratification.
It'll be Montgomery Scott from Relics. So that way it'll be a Montgomery.
It will say like the old cards where this card consumes an elite talent slot and it adds an elite talent slot, thus making it entirely redundant.
Right. No, actually that would be good because then it would give it would be a card that you could do stuff with.
No, listen. We actually we're working on this in State of the Federation, but we actually think Captured is one of the most problematic cards that's ever been printed in the game.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, on that note,
yeah, on that lovely note, good night.
Good night.